Hello everybody and welcome back to Alumni Field for day 2 of the 32nd annual Baggataway Cup tournament. I'll be your host and sideline reporter, and I'm Zach Engel. In just a moment we'll go send it to the broadcast team and Stephen and Pat who will take over from here, but first just a little bit of a preview of what to expect today. In just a few moments time, your host Brock Badgers will be taking on the Trent Excalibur, followed by a game at 4 o'clock between the Western Mustangs and the Guelph Griffins. It should be an exciting one as all four teams vie for an opportunity to play in the finals tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Let's go ahead and send it now to Stephen and Pat, who will be on the call today. Guys?
All right, thank you, Zach. Hey, thanks, Zach. I am Stephen Stamp, joined by Pat, Gregoire, and boy, it should be exciting. There's been a lot of build up to this game. Everyone's pretty pumped, and the players were fired up. I mean, we've got to talk a little bit about what happened before the game. Trent player's ball went over midfield. He went over to the Brock player, threw it away. The Trent player went back to get it. There was some yelling back and forth, some cross checks, a punch apparently. I know I heard I didn't see this. I heard a Trent player threw a punch at a Brock player. I saw a Brock player slash a Trent player in the leg. And that was like 45 minutes before game time, so imagine what this one's going to be like when the whistle goes.
Yeah, I mean, tempers are flaring here today. Anytime, you're battling for a spot in a Canadian championship, there's no doubt there's a lot of pressure on both these teams. And these two teams don't face each other very often during the CUFLA season, but there's a lot of guys that do play each other throughout the summer, all the way through minor into junior, and now even to senior. So these two teams are very familiar with each other, not so much on the CUFLA stage. And then when you add it on top of where you have Brock, who hasn't won since 2009, Trent has never won a Baggataway Cup. So this is two teams ready to, one to end the drought, the other one to start their own history here with a cup as well.
And they're fired up, and I mean, you've got great coaches. We have actually 6 terrific coaching staffs at this tournament, but Jeff McKinley and his group with Mark Farthing and Josh Watson on the Trent side, and Justin Kennedy and his lot over on the Brock side. I mean, it's just a really strong matchup of coaches and players. We've got 4 All-Canadians and 2 honorable mentions for Trent. We've got 3 and 2 for Brock. 3 and 3 for Brock. So there are a lot of quality players. This face-off battle is going to be a big one. These are the Western All-Canadian face-off man Nico Baudouin for Brock against Nick Karam, the honorable mention All-Canadian face-off man for Trent. And he's only honorable mention because Jackson Rakosi is an absolute face-off stud for Queens. I talked to that last night a bit about on the coach's call to where they got to pump their players a bit for All-Canadian nominations before the voting. All the other teams just said, I put my guy in for face-off, but Rakosi's the guy. Like every other coach on the call. I think it was unanimous. So Brock gets first possession. Brandon Slade, who is one of the All-Canadians, an absolute star for this team, had his best Baggataway Cup game ever, really showed up last night with 3 goals and 4 assists. He's going to give it over to Connor Ham, who had 5 goals last night. So big pressure early. That shot's going to go wide. A lot of pressure will be on the Trent goalie, Kyle Holton, who he's a solid goalie and very aggressive coming out of his crease. The Trent defense is solid. Cole Murdoff right there, number 3, is an All-Canadian honorable mention. He is the backbone of that defense. The Trent defense can be very good at times, but at times we've seen them struggle a little bit.
And I think that this matchup, the shifty, quick speed of Brock's offense might give them a little bit of a trouble here. But Cole Murdoff, I've been very impressed with seeing him play. He's been a very solid defender for this Trent team. But I mean, you look at the 2 offenses on both teams; they're very, very similar. The matchup almost seems identical, where you just have I give a slight edge with Trent in the goal. And I give a pretty big edge with the face-off X, as you mentioned. Baudouin is he's awesome. He's been unbelievable for the last 2 years, and now he can he proves that he's also a part of the offense as well.
Yeah, I mean he scored 20 goals this year.
Those all weren't off the face-off as well. So
14 goals.
Yeah,
but no, they weren't. He gets involved. Alex Pace gives it off, and they go in front, but that one's picked off, and here we go the other way. Trent is going to try and fast break, and they do like to get the ball moving. Couple of notes on the Trent roster for you if you're looking on the roster sheet online. Cam Garland listed as 17 is number 18 today, and Justin DeMarkey listed as number 20 is number 27. Cole McWilliams has the ball. He drives down the shoulder, pass behind, and Jeff Fernandez almost deflected that one into the net. He was trying to catch it. It almost worked out, but winds up being, because it was a pass, no possession for Trent, and Alex Skinny will start the clearing.
And I know it's so cliche, but the first goal here is going to be huge. I mean, you look at Trent, you try to take this crowd out of it, and if you're Brock, you really want to bring the energy on the sideline. You look here on the sideline, lots of people there, and as Ian Duffy mentioned many times on the broadcast yesterday, lots of alumni, in the beer tent right now. So you really want to bring the energy up, and get this crowd going.
Yeah, the beer tent is to our right behind the end zone. There's a big fence and a screen, and you can stand there and have a nice beverage and some food down there and watch the game. And lots of Brock alumni there, 70 or 80 guys that have been part of the storied history of this program are here. Yeah, and it is great. It was a lot of fun. Popped in there last night to chat with some of the guys, including Sean Williams, Hall of Famer here at Brock in the Sports Hall of Fame.
And you talk about that history. I mean, they haven't won since 2009. You got to think that pressure is building up more and more. And, even this weekend with so many alumni being there.
Big save, Holton. Off the inside shot, and I'll tell you, that is where Brock absolutely killed Ottawa in the second quarter and into the second half yesterday. Is getting those inside looks, they just couldn't stop. So that's a big save. And there's John, I believe that's John. Brandon Armstrong, a former All-Canadian who one of the many players bringing Trent depth this year.
Yeah, and Armstrong, he's not an All-Canadian for the last 2 years, but he still is no doubt a very, very solid defender. Every time I've talked to the defensive coordinator Mark Farthing, he always gives him high praise and says he's kind of gets forgotten because how good Cole Murnduff has been the last few years.
Cam Garland going to the net. Parker Bale all over him, the three-time All-Canadian Bale. We're going to have a slashing penalty. I believe it's Bale is going to take it as he tried. It will be a minute, so a chance for Trent to get on the board early with lots of pressure, and they are hard to stop with an extra man. Fernandez, leading scorer on the team, second in CUFLA East, down number 77. That's Garland 18 with it. Come up to Mickle at the top. There's Garrett Eddy. He rips it. He loves that top left corner. And he will go high to high and bury on that one a lot with the bit of a three-quarter delivery.
Time of the penalty, he really quarterbacks this offense, so look to see him.
Oh, Mickle bounces a shot off the far post, gets it by Guinea, but can't beat the post. There's Josh Harris running it out. And of course, the tough thing when Parker Bale's in the penalty area is that you've got your best defender out of the equation. Now, Josh Harris, an honorable mention All-Canadian, is also very good, maybe a little more physical. But Bale, I mean, he's been so good for so long.
Oh, yeah, he's been a stud pretty much since he stepped foot here, with Brock. And Harris has been a nice addition. And Connor McGee's another guy that kind of gets, lost because he's such a solid stay-at-home defender, doesn't make too many mistakes. And sometimes you don't really notice him, but being a defender, that's a good thing. If you're not getting noticed, that means you're not making mistakes and you're playing sound defense.
Adam Kirchmeyer, number 14, who just ran the ball up the field, is the All-Canadian LSM for CUFLA West. They're up on the attack now. And Connor Ham, yesterday's hero, moves the ball around.
Ham, just an absolute finisher. You look at his numbers this year, putting up 22 goals, 9 assists. He still has the ability to distribute the ball. Playing D1 at Hartford a few years ago before transferring here. He's a big part of that offense.
Here comes Slade with the shot and the first goal of the game. Brock kills the penalty and opens the scoring. Brandon Slade just slides across the slot and buries it.
That's great to see Slade get going early. You mentioned, yesterday being his best Baggataway Cup he's ever had. Back in 2014, he was playing injured. Not too many people knew that, and he didn't really have a very good tournament at all. Other guys had to step up, and it's nice to see him, come in here yesterday, have a big game, and it looks like he might have another big one as well. I think that matchup with Murnduff doesn't really work too well because Slade is so shifty, and Cole, he's more of a stay-at-home, solid, strong defender, but he doesn't have the foot speed to match Slade. So we'll see if maybe they get a little bit of a change.
Nice play by Karam to tap that ball loose after the real battle on the faceoff. I thought Nico Baudouin was going to get the ball because he stayed so hard on it, but Karam stuck with it, went over and just tapped it loose. So often that's a smart play. Just tap it free and get yourself some space to pick it up with some room.
Hold on a second, wait, hold on.
Adam Peroni moves the ball across. He only got into a couple of games this year because of some injuries, so it's nice for them to have him back. But Brock gets that loose ball. And they're heading up the field. There's Kirchmeier moving it up. Slade lets it go. And I'm not. Looks like we're going to have a penalty coming. A 1 minute tripping call.
White 6-6, trip 1 minute. On the whistle right there.
Nick Finley going to the box. He's actually sitting right beside us. So we've got the Trent bench on the other side. We are on the just to the right of midfield here from our perspective. So as you're looking to your field right as well. Yeah, we're right in the thick of action. There's a shot and a goal by Davis Neal. That's a big one. Quick goal. And Brock is, I believe, taking the timeout. Yeah, Brock takes the timeout to maximize anyone who's not familiar. You do that because of the length of time till the next face-off. With the clock running, the penalty would expire pretty much. So you take that timeout, and you see their coach is pulling the players in. They love the enthusiasm. They want to rein it in, just shy of going too far. You can see Justin Kennedy, the head coach, yelling at his guys beforehand. Get your heads in the game. Get yourselves together during that little skirmish beforehand. And they're really trying to let them have fun, let them be relaxed, but have them be aware.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, both these teams, not afraid to be vocal, not afraid to chirp back and forth. Both these teams, like I said, they don't see each other too often, but they certainly do not like them. They both kind of have that chip on their shoulder, and they both think that they are deserving to get into the Baggataway Cup. And like I said, Brock, you know, the pressure of them not winning a championship since 2009, being the most storied program, having 18 Baggataway Cups, winning more than they've actually lost, going 18.
Well, this is the 32nd Baggataway Cup, right? So they're 18 and 13.
Unbelievable.
That'd be a pretty good record in playoff lacrosse, let alone in championships.
It's quite crazy.
But, and it's interesting because, I mean, Mark Farthing was pointing this out to me. He's a Badger alum, proud Badger, won a bunch of championships here. Now he's one of the coaches. 48 seconds left in the penalty. Farthing now the defensive coach for the Excalibur, and he was saying, hey, none of these guys have won a championship. It's been over 5 years. None of the players on this team have won. So they're in the same situation as Trent is here. They're still trying to establish their own legacy.
There's actually been 2 graduating classes that haven't come home with a ring, which is unheard of for Brock.
Yeah.
If they go again this year, it'll be the 3rd straight. So this is something that they want to change absolutely because, you know, they have such a storied history, but it has been a while since they've won.
Neal passes and a quick release. And there you see that again, showing the depth of this club is Grayson Houghton, who had a strong game yesterday, cuts in. You're trying to watch Brandon Slade, you're trying to watch Brandon Stahl, Nick Ribka, Connor Ham, Nico Baudouin, and Davis Neal. And you got somebody like Houghton who just slips in, and they're so good at cutting open space.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, that's one thing that they've done a really good job so far. Like you said, finding those goals on the inside with off-ball movement. And, you know, this year I think the big difference between the Brock teams that we've seen is the immense amount of depth that they have. You know, it wasn't back in the day they did have a ton of depth, and that was one of the big things that they had. But in the last few years, they really have only had a few big guns that did produce. And now, like you said, there's so many guys on this team that can produce at a consistent rate.
And another face-off win. And Trent's coach, Jeff McKinley, coming in. He wants to make sure that they're on top of the penalty timing because Finley's penalty was actually up and the timer did not release it.
Yes.
So McKinley had to come over and ask, and they did get Finley out for the face-off.
And that's the thing that's huge on Coach McKinley to get his man out there. We saw a situation where Guelph didn't recognize that the penalty was done, and then the wing was close, so they couldn't get it out,
right.
and it led
and it
to
cost
a
him a goal. Yeah.
The reason I screwed up there was
Brock with tons of possession here. There's Nick Ribka over to Slade, Barassa on the far side.
I got it.
They've got so many weapons, and Trent's really having trouble maintaining or gaining possession here. And it's not just on Nick Coran. You gotta be cherishing the ball. They created some opportunities. They had the shot off the post. Certainly nothing to panic about, but you don't want to get down when you are. They're not a young team per se, but they're not the most experienced playoff team in this league right now. There's a great strip by Finley. He's heading up the field and creating some space. Nice wheels. Puts his shoulder down and knocks over the defender. The ball's still on the ground. Everyone fighting hard for it. They're going to throw it. Brock will get it, throw it all the way back to Guinea and slow things down. There's some pressure from Garland on the hard ride, but that leaves a little space in behind. And Brock's going to be able to clear it relatively easily.
It's an unfortunate bounce there for Trent. I mean, you make a real nice play. You know, a defensive midfielder, Nick Finley, making a nice play, moving upfield, then they lose possession. It goes back the other way. And the way Brock has been running this offense, really chewing up the clock and, you know, taking their opportunities when they do see something arise. So, you know, it's Trent's probably getting a little anxious here to try to get a possession going and try to, you know, get their first goal of the game here.
Yeah, and again, you know, like we said, you've got to value possession, and it was Finley basically I don't dislike the play to establish contact with the defender, and you be the one. There's a shot from the outside and goal. Connor Ham, he is a dead finisher. He just rips that one home. And definitely a hole right now. And, you know, Trent basically just needs to get some possession, get some good offensive possession, and hold the ball and create a shot. Make sure you get a good scoring chance. And if you're not going to get it, make sure it's a shot you can maintain possession on.
You know what? I really like the play of Cole Murduff, but I just don't think it's a good matchup at all for you know, for Trent having him cover Slade. Slade absolutely turns him inside out and is able to find a fairly easy pass for Connor Ham. We talked about him pre-game a little bit. The guy's an absolute finisher. You know, that's what he is. He's a spot-up shooter. Sure, he has the ability to move the ball as well and you know, dodge. But really, what is his big strong point is catching the ball, planting his feet, and letting it fly. And that's a prime Connor Ham goal right there.
Absolutely. I mean, just the quick release, finding a spot, a soft spot in the defense, and just letting it go. And you just can't leave Ham. And the tricky thing is, you know, whoever's covering him has to be aware of that, but also has to be ready to slide in and help because they have the dangerous players elsewhere. And we haven't even seen very much of the Trent offense yet. I'll tell you, when they get the ball, they are going to be pumped up. They have to kind of contain it a bit. Sometimes you get a little too excited, but they're so talented.
And that's the thing we saw with Bishops yesterday. They kind of got down early and they were sort of forcing the ball too much, and that's something that they're not used to. So we'll have to see if Trent, you know, does get a little bit too urgent or they stick to it. But they're a team that, you know, doesn't mind running and gunning the ball either. So
we talked about how Brandon Slade has played pretty much all attack this year, maybe the odd time going back on transition, playing some D-midi, but there you see him clearing the ball with his speed. He plays a transition role for the Oakville Rock of MSN. Well, he's an Oakville Titan.
Yeah.
Josh Briscoe would be all over me if I didn't point out that he is a Titan, and went up and played some with the Rock and played a pretty nice role in the defensive zone for them, moving the ball. Here he is up in the offensive zone again, getting to the far side. And Barassa come near side to Davis Neal. Slade just keeps the ball rolling around the outside. And Ribko over on the far left there. Gets it back from Pace.
10 seconds. You can live off of CFL.
Trent's starting to extend the defense a little bit. Brock probes. There goes Ribka. Right on top of the crease. They love it. It's not a stack. He's just in there on his own. Now, Davis Neal's going to go and join him. And Pace will start to drive. Come back out. Cameron Page forcing the drive by Barassa wide. Nothing evolving from that drive. Brock definitely getting some traffic in the middle now. As Pace sets up outside, ready to go for a dodge. Dan Mickles on him as the stall warning goes into effect. So they've got to stay inside that restraining line. Thanks for watching, everyone, here on Brock TV today. If you're a Brock fan, oh, there's a cut by Neal. You can hear the bench start to yell, and the defenders jumped on him. His Pace is behind the net. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Zach Engel, our host. There's a shot by Ham, and Holton gets that one. That's a big save.
Yeah, that's a huge save to get his confidence going. Stop the bleeding for Trent here, and Trent's gotta, get a good strong possession here, get your looks, and hopefully, for their sake, they can, get on the board here. Because we've talked about it, when things get rolling here, it kind of snowball effects, and the negativity kind of sinks into the team, and you can't have that in the, a semifinal championship game.
We've got just 4.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Shot 6-1 for Brock. The score 4-0 for Brock. So Trent trying to take a long, solid possession, create something. McWilliams, they're going to slow things down a little bit. Fernandez cuts into the slot. McWilliams is just going for a trot around the outside, partially to give the defense a break. There's Garrett Eddy. He is a dynamic playmaker. He is coming out from X, shoots off the crossbar. Trent's saying it was in. My first inclination was that it was, but I don't know the way it came in, whether it hit inside the line and spun out or not. The ref, again, is right there on the line to see it.
And I think if it was a little bit closer, Trent's bench might be going a little crazier than this right now. So it looked like one of those things where you got to give the benefit of the doubt to the official. That is closer.
I think part of it for the two guys who threw their hands up and suggested it was a goal is a little wishful thinking.
Yeah.
When you're down 4-0 in a one of the biggest games in this program's history.
I mean, if you're Trent, not obviously happy with the start, but the two offensive possessions you've had, you've been able to beat Parker Bale twice and get two good scoring opportunities, which is huge because Parker Bale is a 3-time All-Canadian. He's one of the best defenders in the league. Exactly, and if you can beat him 2 for 2 there, not come up with a goal there, you got to start, taking little victories while you're not scoring goals because they're going to come. This Brock team's not going to shut out Trent. They're going to find their way.
Mackenzie Mitchell, we saw him get in with smashing last night. Now he's playing an earlier role today as stall. A little ward off with the left hand there. Dumps it over to Slade. Mitchell waiting on the outside. Grayson Houghton slides into the stack, and out pops Ham.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
Brock just probing. Kind of lull you to sleep with some of their outside movement, but there's a strip, but it bounces straight to Ham. That slash right to the ankle of Connor Ham. And maybe a bit of a break there for Ethan Schott that he didn't draw a bit of a slashing call.
Backer! That's you, Backer! Take a first seat!
Trying to lock off on the other players there to try to get a strip, but Brock there doing a good job to get free and help out his man Mitchell McKenzie there on the midfield.
We saw yesterday Connor Primo. There's the ball pops loose and Trent will get it. They've got to take care of this. So here Josh Wasson really encouraging his guys. The ball stripped. Davis Neal just knocks the ball loose and goes and grabs it.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate bounce there. Ethan Schott dropping the ball there on a fairly easy clear. I know it was off stick there, but you gotta take control of the ball here. Talking to Mark Farthing before the game, the defensive coordinator of Trent, saying, this is a game where whoever makes the more mistakes is probably going to come out with a loss because these teams are so close and they're so well coached and so good.
We're into the final minute of play right now here in the first quarter. Brock up 4-0. I was saying yesterday we saw Slade, they're locked off by Ottawa's Connor Primo, an All-Canadian defender. Now another honorable mention All-Canadian defender, Cole Murdoff, all the way out to the sideline to pick him up. Murdoff is, Trent's top guy. And you can see, I don't know how much the field you can see on your screen, but keep an eye on the bottom right as Davis Neal is occasionally just slipping into open space. Now with Alex Pace running around behind, everything closes in a little bit. Down to the final 28 seconds. Timer's on the field.
Timer's coming up behind you. Do it inside. You give Granderson the signal when I
20 seconds to go. Stall warning on for Brock. All three officials put their stall hands up. There's Ham from the outside, saved by Bolton. Goes back to Brock. Pace gets it. Another save by Bolton. Kyle Holton with 2 back-to-back saves, absolutely huge to keep the score 4-0. And boy, that is big. We're going to be going to Zach Engel. We'll just take a look and see when he is ready.
No score. Shots on goal.
But what a big save, a pair of saves.
Yeah, that's a huge sequence for Trent there. I mean, you're looking up at the scoreboard 4-0. Could easily be 5-0 there with a couple of those saves. Trent
Lacrosse.
obviously looking a little bit deflated right now, but as we saw, they can score in bunches at any time during this year.
All right, Zach Engel ready.
The St. Catharines Junior A Athletics. The St. Catharines Spartan Junior Bees.
Thanks, guys.
Crawford,
Just
Smith,
the
and
Brock
Swallow.
Badgers are off to a good start here, leading 4-0 after the first quarter.
Trent
and one
University
thing
Athletics.
that head coach Justin Kennedy told me
13th
earlier
Street
today
Winery.
was
The
The
City
difference
of
between
St.
this team as
Catharines,
opposed to teams in the
Cully's
past is the
Original
character
Sports
that
Bar,
this team has. And let me tell you
Pizza
an example
Jerry's,
that starts with the coaching
Wild
staff.
Wings St.
Justin Kennedy
Catharines,
last season
The
found out
Beach
that
Sports
one
Bar
of
and
the Badgers'
Grill,
top players,
Swish
in Brandon
LA,
Stahl,
Glendale
was
Avenue,
injured, but he was
and
cleared to
Brand
play at the end of
Boulevard.
October. But
A
instead
big
of letting him
thank you
come out and play
to the
in an important and
2016
critical time
CUFLA
ahead of the playoffs,
Baggataway
he
Cup
decided to hold
sponsors.
him out in the best
Fans, a
interest of
reminder,
not only his
please
career
stay in
with
your
Brock,
seats at
but for his lacrosse
halftime.
career
A
for the
very
rest
special
of his career.
presentation
That's turned
coming
out
up
to be pretty good
as
as
we
he
welcome
sits with
back
39 points
the
so far in the season, and he looks to be a
1986
critical force
Brock
for the Badgers as they
Badgers
look to
men's
get back
lacrosse team.
to the
Please stay
Baggataway
in
Cup
your
final.
seats for a
Guys,
special
back to you.
halftime presentation.
Thanks, Zach. And yeah, no, an interesting point about Stahl. He's been fairly quiet this weekend, but he's definitely one of those weapons. But to me, those pair of saves by Kyle Holt could turn the course of this game. I think if you see Trent come out, change things up, and get settled down and score some goals and get back into it, I think they're all going to point to Kyle Holton's saves there at the end of the first and say, wow, that was a big factor.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, like I said, like that, those are two huge game-changing saves. I know it doesn't put any points on the board, but you got to be feeling better if you're Trent there, holding it at 4-0 rather than going down 5-0 when that buzzer sounds. That would be just, you talk about the negativity just building up, snowball affecting. Now you got to hope, if you're Trent, you got to think, you got to come up with this ball and get a possession here and really stop the bleeding and get your first goal up the game. And like I said, we've seen this Trent team score in bunches. They have the ability to do it, but it all just has to start with one. It's so cliche, but it really is. You get that first one and get the confidence going. And there's a lot of volume shooters on this team. Once they get hot, they know how to find the back of the cage. And at the start of the game, we saw them take a lot of open looks, but they just haven't had the possessions.
Yeah, they need to have the ball, and to me, when they do get it, you go to Garrett Eddy, number 2, who is such a dynamic playmaker. Just give him a chance to create something because he can do it. That ball is dropped by Beaudoin. Looked like he had the face-off. Loose again. There's a nice pickup. Great grab there. As Trent takes possession, Jonathan Leclerc.
And that's big, Beaudoin doesn't make too many mistakes, and when he does, you have to absolutely capitalize on him and pick up that loose ball. You can't give him any second chances to pick up that ball, and that's a great face-off there by the Trent's draw team.
Especially because the ball did hop over to a Brock player, and Leclerc was just right on top of him to knock it free. Trent's going to set things up down in the corner, and Nick Karam is just isolating, slowing things down a little bit, going head-to-head. 1-7! You can hear from the bench, they're saying be aware of Jeff Fernandez. There's a big pick set. Ball bounces loose. Eddie has it. He's going to let it go. That one will be maintained possession. He misses. Eddie, he can be just a dead shooter, but I think he is even more effective on the run. Travis Zabolts, the number 22, the big body. He's been playing some midfield for this team. He's generally been an attack guy. He's definitely an offensive player in midfield. And in box across, there's the freshman, Cam Garland with a shot. There's a save by Guinea. Ball's on the ground. And it looked like Eddie went to the wrong guy, but Jeff Fernandez is there to try and get it. Trent saying it went off of Brock, but no, it's off of a white jersey. And Brock will have the ball.
Brock very lucky there. Looked like there was 2 miscues there. First off, someone did not pick up Eddie there. A little bit of miscommunication play there. And then after that, Garland just taking it to the cage, and no slide came until he almost released the ball. So Guinea bailing out his defense there with a big save.
Brock slowing things down a little bit now. Brassa on the far side.
And yeah, I didn't get it.
Alex Pace slowing things down.
I thought it was some stupid thing.
Ripken now will come in. He's gone in behind midfield to replace the defender coming off, Cole Martin. So D-Mitty who got up. And now they get the long pole Parker bailout. So a sequence of substitutions. Always interesting in this field lacrosse game. Davis Neal. Watch closely. Brandon Armstrong trying to strip it. We've got a penalty coming. Brock up 4-0. We'll go to the man up.
That was a great trip. 1 minute.
It's going to be a 1 minute tripping penalty to Cole Murdoch. That pass through, gets knocked and almost bounced by Kyle Holton, but he reacts quickly to
Excalibur
adjust.
penalty.
Trent with the
To
ball.
number
That's a
3,
lovely little
Cole
pass.
Murdoch.
Now
1 minute for
we're gonna
tripping.
see.
Murdoch, 1
Here
minute for
comes the
tripping. Time of penalty,
LSM
3-12.
cutting off, and another nice pass. Decent shot, moving that ball over. Leclerc holding on to it, running back into his own end. Effective kill by the Excalibur here. Running some new players out.
Not the prettiest breakout by any stretch of the imagination, but it is chewing up the clock, and at the end of the day, that's really all that you need right now. Just chew up as much time as you can, especially with how well this Brock offense has been playing.
Bolton happy to hang out behind his crease.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
10 seconds left in the Trent penalty. Here comes shot.
It's a great find by Shot there.
Yeah. Nice job to see Mickle up in open space. And Dan Mickle, the veteran, a 3-year captain of the Peterborough Lakers Junior A team, and brings some great experience to this club and a pretty good stick too.
Yeah, he's the type of guy that any coach would love to have. A full team of Danny Mickles. He's just a Class A character guy.
Justin DeMarchi goes for a dodge from the top. Spinning back and forth with Bale all over him. Bale out to almost midfield on defense, and there's some pressure.
That's an outstanding slide by Bale. Put pressure up so far up midfield, and force Trent to make a bad pass there, and
then Brandon Stahl's right on top of him to pick
exactly.
up and force the ground ball to go out of bounds.
Exactly.
Oh, and there's the man in front. That's a big save if Holton got some of that, because Barassa was wide open on the slot. On top of the crease, just turned and fired. Holton.
It's a great trail check there.
Oh, and again, the tap by Murdoch ahead, and then absolutely flattens Davis Neal on his follow through.
You see that's the type of play that Murdoch's all about. He's such a strong, big, solid body. Not the greatest foot speed, as I mentioned, but when he gets in open field and he does get going, he can lower the hammer and really change the momentum there with a big hit.
Finley gets it over Karam to Zabolts in the slot. He drops it. Oh, a nice slide by Harris. And we've talked about his physical play and the body there, managing to knock the ball loose. They're trying to get it away from Guinea. The ball is loose on the ground. It rolls out and is scooped up.
I would have really liked to see Karam take that to the net there. He had an open lane, decided to go with the throwback pass, and it didn't work out there. Obviously hindsight there, but he's the type of guy that has no problem, putting the ball in the net when he has the opportunity.
Yeah, he's a goal-a-game guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, right now you can't be picky with the amount of looks that you're getting when you don't have a single goal on the board.
Boy, when you're having trouble scoring though, it's easy to grip the stick and be like, try if you can make it just a little more perfect the scoring chance.
Exactly.
In that case, he kind of took himself out of the scoring position. Brock's going to slow it down after their D had a long, arduous defensive stretch. So Slade will just hold on to it. Toss it over to Ham. Mitchell taking his time. Finley watching him.
Slade getting Stahl getting a couple more looks on midfield, trying to see if you can get him involved in the game.
Oh, and there's Stahl cutting, and he had an open lane there. They couldn't quite get the pass through, and that pass doesn't connect either. It is picked up off the ground and missed. Brock will keep possession.
I think someone's already over there.
Brock starting with possession on the far side. I'll tell you, Grayson Houghton cutting down the slot there, made the pass, but it's interesting. So when he got the pass, he didn't even look to the net. He had a lane to go in and get a shot. But I guess they had to play on, and he was focused on that. Sometimes you got to be aware of serendipity.
Yep.
A little opening comes available for you.
Who was the captain? This is allowed captain to make speech.
There's Mitchell, gives it off to Houghton. We're 7 minutes and 45 seconds into the second quarter.
Was a better lacrosse player than the rest of
Houghton in behind.
the junior B. It's unbelievable.
Got Cameron Page watching him. As he gives it off to Stahl, you see Leclerc picking him up. Leclerc knocks him close to the line. There's the ball, comes out. Great strip by Leclerc. The Trent team is getting fired up, trying to get themselves going. They want, oh, and then the pass. Thrown away.
Can't happen.
Boy, that's deflating.
Can't happen. That's a play, you know. Johnny Leclerc, oh, we had a flag put away there.
Yeah, because Garrett Eddy was trying to stay over center. He stepped over the line, but there were two other players there. There was actually a third player. Fernandez was way up by goal line extended still. So the Trent bench was yelling to let the official know that there was a third player, and he put the flag away. So good on him.
Yeah, as I was saying, Trent making a great play. Leclerc with a beautiful strip and the hit on Stahl, and then pick up the ball and just turn it the other way. And now you have Brock with another long possession, and this Trent defense has got to be exhausted right now.
And we're not even halfway through the game. Murdoch running with Slade.
That's fine, Murdy.
Well, I'll tell you, Cole Murdoch doesn't look like the quickest runner around. He's not exactly the sleek athletic build, but he can move.
Yeah, you know, up and down is he has no problem with. It's the side-to-side movement that does give him trouble, and that's why Slade seems like a little bit of a mismatch there. But you know, he has settled down since those first two goals for Brock. Slade scoring the one and then setting up the second one. So I think he's starting to get his footing and finding ways that he can, outsmart Slade, because he knows he's not going to outspeed him.
Stahl goes on this extended possession by Brock. We're nearing the midway point of the second half, of the second quarter of semifinal number one. There's a pass across in the rip. Crease call, and the Excalibur will get it. We're bringing you all the games live this weekend on Brock TV. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire and Zach Engel. Trent takes a timeout as they get over midfield. They want to set things up.
It's a smart play.
I like it because they've been a little flustered.
Exactly, and long polls right now are absolutely gassed. They've made a lot of miscues with moving the ball in transition. I think it's a great play. Get over half, call the timeout, give your skilled guys an opportunity to have the ball in their sticks there. And Trent, this is a huge possession. I mean, you're not hitting the panic button by any stretch of the imagination right now. Looking at the scoreboard, you're down 4, but you really, really want to come up with this possession. Maybe you don't score a goal here, but you want to get a nice look, to keep this confidence up for Trent. I know that they, like you said, they don't have too many veterans on the team. Yes, they do have some older players, but they don't have that playoff experience, right? Yeah. This is like you said, this is probably the biggest game in their program's history.
I might disagree with you a little bit that I think they really need a goal soon, because it's a confidence thing. You've gone 30 minutes and 14 seconds of being shut out. It eats away at you when you're known for your offense. I mean, the Trent defense has been the part that's been a little up and down, a little bit shaky at times. They've had some great stretches. You've seen Leclerc and Murdoch and some of these other.
You stripped your love down to the wire. By your side, all alone outside. You stripped it right down to the wire. But I see you behind the scarred eyes. Now as you wait.
Face off the first year, it's like they have a chance where they have their own setup where they call that time. The only practice twice
Setting up on the outside, Eckel takes it, slips by his man, heads to the net, but passes it off. Chose to pass it off. Again, that's perfect setup. Ball behind the net. He's just such a physically post guy.
How is it on the other side? Is it all right? Can you hear it?
Yeah, you can hear everything.
Oh, really?
I can hear everything. I can't tell from here. Even in the corner,
athletic
you
body.
can
There's
hear
a shot
everything.
by Grant, the same by Eddie.
In fact, I was in the very tent, and you could hear the goal.
Brock comes up.
Oh, okay.
That's
one speaker. I'm just amazed.
It's amazing.
Brock gets the ball back. Harris taking his time. Trent with some pressure. Eddie jumps out on him. A little push to the lower back, and Harris emphasizes it.
To say the least.
A reminder for anyone who wasn't with us at the beginning of the show, there was some interaction between the teams about 45 minutes before game time during warm-up when a Trent ball went over to the Brock side. The Brock player threw the ball away on him. The Trent player went over to get a ball. There was some talk, some chest bumps. There was apparently a punch, which I didn't see. There was a slash by a Brock defender on a Trent player. Lots of words. Officials got out, separated things. And there was almost more, actually, as the Trent team started to come to the field. And the way you come out of the building, you walk past the Brock end of the field where they were warming up. And boy, things were starting to get heated again. So there was some intervention and things calmed down a bit.
Here we go, shut it down, White.
Well, as you were, retelling that story there, it was a really nice clear by Brock there, very settled, not forcing the ball. Ooh, a nice hit there.
Big hit by Shot on Ribka to flatten him.
Shot is throwing his body around
Yeah.
quite a bit today.
Here they come. And Mikkel's going to let it fly, and there's the goal. And the silly turf swipe. And you can see how excited this Trent team is. That's why I was thinking they need a goal, so it will just turn things around and get them fired up. And they're actually directing some calls out towards the Brock team, who's just looking at them and thinking, hey guys, it's 4-1. Get excited again, but we're still winning.
Hey, yeah, I know. These are two teams that have a chip on their shoulder. They want to win this badly. They don't like each other at all, and they don't play each other much. And that's what I said pregame. They have a lot of guys that know each other from playing against and with each other in the summer, and that's where the rivalry is built up, and they get even bigger on the national stage here.
Baudouin with a violation, and Trent will get the ball. The clerk picks it up, and somebody said to me before the game, these are the two chirpiest teams in the league.
Yeah.
They will get under each other's skin. Trent takes possession. Karam holding on to it.
12-15.
He's going to toss it smartly over to DeMarchi.
And I will say that entire sequence, the goal there was started by Ethan Schott laying that big hit on that late slide. And I know the ball was lodged before that, but he lays the body, finishes his check, and gets the energy going. They run it up the field and bury a nice goal there. And now you kind of feel Trent's just energy completely pick up, and you can see it even here on the field right now.
Yeah, no question. A hard fake by DeMarchi. I thought he was throwing it. Here's Cam Garland. Another big body working his way in, trying to back down. Turns, the pass low. It's picked up by Fernandez, but gets away from him. Now Garland goes after it. Nice grab by Harris with the long pole. And that's the one thing I'll tell you. Garland's a big guy. I can sympathize being 6'9". It's a long way down to pick up the ground balls, and you're not always the quickest guy to get down there, especially when there's a guy with a pole, a 6-foot stick that can get to it easier.
Yeah, that's just another great job by Brock's defense, sending that slide a little bit early. They know that Garland, like you said, big, strong body, not the fastest guy, so it's a little bit harder for him to react to that slide, and then it's just a beautiful loose ball pickup there by Harris.
Almost looks like
solid.
It almost looks like you're talking about how the slides have been so good. It's occurring to me, I'm not sure if we've seen Brock have to do a second slide on a possession yet. Like Trent, I don't think has really forced them to get to that level. And maybe that's what they need to do, is get a little more lateral movement and try and open up some space. But we'll see what evolves as they go up top to Stahl. We're down to 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Shots 10-5 Brock. The score 4-1 Brock, but Trent is on the board. That is a big step for them. Getting back into this one. Again, I mean, these are both 11-1 teams. It's not like there's a favorite here.
No.
I think this is a real toss-up coming in. 12-1 if you include the qualifying games that got them here to the Baggataway Cup. And actually, Brock, of course, goes to 13-1 with their win last night. That shot goes wide. But Brock will retain possession. Again, if you're a Box fan tuning in and you're wondering why they get possession, when a shot goes out the back line, it's whoever is closest to the back line when the ball goes out gets possession. That's why you'll often, part of the reason you'll often see an attack man back behind the net.
And a smart idea here from Brock to kind of slow down the pace, not give Trent any opportunities to try to bring the ball up the field and continue this momentum, a real slow it down approach, get your looks. And I like the idea of putting Stahl on a midfield to try to get this short stick matchup, which we're about to see.
Yeah. Nick Finley staying with him. Big chop on the hands, which I think affected the pass, and there it's picked off. Brandon Armstrong gets it. Passes it back. That's a huge play to get possession. 3:44 to go in the second quarter. Now they're running the field. DeMarkey, man coming behind, just catches sight of him at the last second. Trent's going to take their second timeout of the half. Each team does get 2 timeouts per half. And as you see, they don't tend to use them like you do in football where you save them at the end. You don't need those timeouts. You need time at specific moments. And you can see, I think the Trent coaches were seeing their guys getting a little bit running around again, like a little scattered maybe.
Yeah, and it seemed to, it worked last time. They did move the ball up, got possession. They didn't get a goal. They didn't get a goal off that specific possession, but it was, something that really calmed down the team. And now you see this Trent team playing with a completely different swagger right now. A lot of confidence, which we hadn't seen until that first goal.
Yeah,
now it looks like what they've been doing all year, and even at the start of warm-ups, hooting and hollering, and that's the type of team they are, and that's the type of team Brock is as well. And
they're very loud.
Exactly, and that's the way that they play. They have to get back to playing that.
What a beautiful day. I don't know if it was mentioned. It was nice yesterday, but got kind of cold. But 15, 16 degrees, sunny, unbelievable for November 5th. And just a gorgeous day here on the Brock campus. A great new field. The facility is nice. This tournament's going very well. Not the tight games that we've seen in some Baggataway Cups in the Friday night games before, but the organization has been really good, except for the dude who wouldn't let me park. I didn't like that much, but everything else has been pretty darn good.
And I'm sure the alumni right now couldn't be happier with this weather right now with what's going on in the beer tent right now, that's for sure.
So Brock does have 1 timeout left. Trent has used their 2 for the half. And Nick Karam starts with the ball, 3:33 to go, over to Mickle, and they immediately put something into action. There's Fernandez, who we really haven't seen anything from today. Eddie with a pick. Cam Garland can't catch the pass. It goes straight through to Guinea. And boy, that is not what Trent wanted to come out of that one.
No, absolutely not. And that's the right look that they want to get. Fernandez is a quick, shifty player, runs upfield, draws that slide. And you have a guy like Garland who's so good in tight.
Brock pushing the pace the other day, and that one the other way, and almost skipped by Holton. Well, it did skip by him, but went wide of the net. As he was winding up, I wasn't 100% sure if that was a shot or a pass coming, actually, but it wound up being a kind of, I'm not sure he knew, because it was kind of half and half.
Okay.
But they do retain possession.
So we're just going to read the whole team? Read the whole team. Just say some of them are here? Some of them.
Get him up!
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Long run around the outside.
I did beer tent twice, buddy.
That's where that depth. I mean, that's Connor Aquano out there, number 77 for Brock, who's going out to do a bit of running and taking a few minutes of rest, providing a few minutes of rest for the other guys. And Dan Mickle runs right through the pick of Nick Rybka. Rybka gets up and cuts the net because that's just what he does. Rybka, excellent at going to the slot. Mickle with a couple of one-hand flick checks. And it's a crease call. Brock, just a little lapse in attention, and that's a big turnover. 2 minutes exactly to go in the half. Stay with us at halftime. Zach Engel will be joined by Brock coach Justin Kennedy.
One goal.
I mean, here Josh Washington right beside us telling his offensive guys, take your time. There's 2 minutes left. You don't have to rush. We don't need to get these 3 goals back right now. We don't have to look for a field goal.
Exactly.
We just play our game, get good possessions. And to me, I'm always a fan of getting the ball to Garrett Eddy because he can create so much and things can flow off of that. Right now, they're going to have the stick of Justin DeMarkey.
Great to see you. Yeah. All right, we're.
Sorry, that's Adam Peroni, of course, on the far side.
Marty was. That guy was asking. Yeah, we're good.
I keep thinking I see a flag drifting, but it's just one of the leaves from the beautiful set of trees right behind us here. Peroni steps back and fires, getting with the save. Oh, what a pickup by Harris. Then he throws the pass across. And a little fortunate that they held on to it. That's a great scoop by Harris. Wow, he's been hot on the ground balls.
Yeah, that's a big pickup there. Lucky, like you did say, grabbing or flicking the loose ball and it going to open space.
Yeah, pace was there and he just snagged it. So Brock will take their second timeout. 52.7 seconds to go. They lead 4-1, and they'd love to get the looks they got at the end of the first quarter when Holton made those 2 huge saves, try and cash on them.
Yeah, exactly. Trent there, Peroni getting a nice opportunity there. Probably not the look that they chalked up, but sometimes, like you said, if you see something, he creates space and takes a shot. And for Trent, he's a guy that they really need to get going as well. He didn't play a lot of games this year. It looked like two. He was out with an upper body injury, but he's a guy that came in here with Jeff Fernandez, coming from Detroit Mercy, a Division I program. They both transferred, and they have a lot of familiarity with the guys on the team. A big Gales connection here. Obviously, some Peterborough guys on here, but the Green Gales, the Junior B lacrosse team as well. Lots of representatives on that team as well, and that's why I think they came out to such a hot start. Yeah, they did have a lot of new players, but a lot of these guys have played with each other throughout the summer and in minor lacrosse as well, so it didn't really have that new team feel, and that's maybe also why they might have peaked a little bit early, you could say, too, as well, where you see teams like Brock that kind of started to play their best lacrosse near the end of the season.
Another factor, it's interesting, Clarington, Bowmanville, and Curtis, and Whitby and Oshawa all providing players to this Trent team and bringing them down. And I know they really want to get back into the Peterborough base as well. But the one thing, also, Trent played like 9 games in the first about 4 weeks or 5 weeks of the season. And they played a ton of games early ahead of everyone else.
And that's tough. When you do play all those games, you get the flow going, and then it kind of stops near the stretch at the end of the year. So these other teams are getting close to playing, two games a weekend, and they're, practicing, and you can practice all you want, but there's nothing more than a game. Gaining that
nothing
game
quite
situation.
like game situation.
No, exactly. That's your best practice, is in games.
Slade starts with it. Repeated slow fakes over to Pace. Not quite sure what the point of that was.
Just having some fun here.
I guess so. 35 seconds. He's just going to head off to the corner and wait to try and create a last shot. And this is where it's so important as a defense to be able to keep your head in it and not get lulled as they just wait and wait. 24 seconds, the timer is out on the field. Slade slides in. Here comes Slade. Burnoff meets him. They run around to the far side. Big hit throw, but he missed. And Ribka, what a save by Holton. And a hit. That's going to be a penalty. Time will run out. That's the end of the first half. And it was Liam Barkley throwing the big hit that will be penalized.
Please report to the scores.
And somebody tried to throw a big hit before that as Slade came around. And that's the one thing, you try and throw that and you miss it. And all of a sudden you create an opening, and you saw Ribka step into it. He is so dangerous. And they're a little lucky. And of course, Holton, terrific again.
Yeah, I mean, he's come up with 3 huge saves at the right time. At the end of that first quarter there, making 2 in a row, and then they're coming up and stuffing Slade on the crease there. It's been timely saves that has been huge for this Trent team to keep them close into this game.
We're going to go over to Zach Engel with Justin Kennedy on the sideline over by the Brock bench.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined right now with Brock Coach Justin Kennedy. Coach, how did you find that first half?
The first half was good. I mean, they're tough like we expected. So far we've stuck to our game plan. I'm quite proud of that. Again, we prepare for the same game the same way every time. We play 20 minutes at a time. The first half was good. We had a great start. We tried to settle it down a little bit in the second quarter, and we're going to continue to execute.
What unique challenges does a game, playing a team like Trent, where you don't see them very often, come into play as opposed to a team that's in your conference?
Sure. Well, from a coach's perspective, you make sure you do your research. You do your due diligence there. We do make sure we get out to quite a few Trent games, and some of those games from the East, and also we work hard on locking down video.
Ladies and gentlemen, at
things
this
like
time,
that. So, we're dedicated to doing our research and preparing, and I feel like we prepared very well.
Here at Brock University.
So far so good. We just got to make sure we can.
Field lacrosse has become
now, lastly, what is it? How does it do for your
years
team to
here
be able to
at
host the
Brock
Baggataway Cup here at Brock University? What does that do for your confidence?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's very special. We have a great culture here at Brock Lacrosse. We also have a really
with Brock
great
hosting this
past
year's
to be
Baggataway
proud
Cup,
of, and now
it seemed
we
only
get
fitting that we take a moment at this time
give back a
to
little
honor
bit
the
to the
very
alumni,
first
things like that.
Field
And for the
Lacrosse
guys, it's an experience like no other to be able to host this at your home field, and to be able to host the teams
at
coming
time,
in. It's a special thing, and I think we certainly feed off of it.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half.
Hall of Famer.
Guys, back to you.
all-world lacrosse player.
All right, thank you, Zach. And
Mr. Sean
we're going to
Williams
take a break
to
for
center
halftime.
field.
Sean Williams, a legendary player, a Hall of Famer at Brock here on the
And at
Brock
this time,
Athletics
please
Hall of
give a
Fame.
warm reception and welcome to the field.
National
the
Lacrosse League
1986
great, the
Brock
Brooklyn Redmond
Badgers
great,
men's
is that they're
field
honoring some of
lacrosse
the
team.
first team that Brock ever won the championship
Players
with. You
not
want to say anything? Because we're going to
today.
break.
No, you know what? I want to see this. This
Me
is pretty
too.
cool.
Watch this, guys. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for the second half.
Antonio, Brian Lemon, Guy Telesniski, Scott Madole, Rick Wilson. Players here today, please welcome Paul Miller, Ross Cowie, Glenn Simpson, James Arbor, Joe Glenn, Keith McLeod, Thomas Howe, James Talevi, and the 1986 team captain, Dan Army Armstrong. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the 1986 Brock Badgers men's field lacrosse team. And on behalf of the athletic department here at Brock University, we'd like to recognize this great achievement performed by this 1986 team by presenting them each with gifts, and that, of course, was presented by Mr. Sean Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for the 1986 Brock Badgers men's field lacrosse team.
They just showed up now, yeah.
Well, I didn't even know that. I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I knew they had ropes.
So go, please call college. Yeah, that's where they're on the side.
Yeah. There's a Brock basketball gala. So hopefully I see it tonight, Willie. Yeah, so hopefully I'll see it tonight.
Okay. Hey, Brandon.
How's it going? Good. I'm Brandon. There you go. Nice to meet you. Calling me, I'm out.
Good job, Willie.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. Glad to do it. No problem. Glad to do it.
Good job, you guys. Thanks, Rob. So
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you after.
Good thing I don't have to wear gear into some of the shirts again.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. When I'm sitting Thanks, guys. True pressure is really helpful. They've got a lot of competition in the States that I'll just make up play the game. I like what we did with you because you asked a little more responsive, right? You got a little more answers with them. So we'll do that and I'll get them for you. Regardless of who they pick to play, if you want somebody else. It looks a lot better than the other one too with the How much is the cameras? He just does it whenever he gets the best shot. I don't know if you've seen how it works.
No, I haven't seen it.
Doing the score sheet.
Wow.
I wait to say, at least I did it my way. But I wait to fade, but in my heart I understand. I made my move, and it was all about you. Though I feel so far removed. You are the one thing in my way. 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 You are the one thing in my way.
To the 2016 Baggataway Cup. It's 4-1, as you can see on the screen there, for the Brock Badgers. Trent, though, comes up with possession off the opening faceoff, and that is big for this white team because they need some positive things to happen. The big save by Holton at the end of the first half certainly got them fired up again, and now they've got possession. Mickle will hand it off to DeMarchi. Peroni there, as you mentioned, just a couple of games this year, but he is a nice addition to this club. Fernandez gets behind the net. They really would love to get him going. And Garrett Eddy, as we see number 2 on the bottom left of your screen, is a big factor for Trent too. And they need to get those all-Canadian offensive players going. Peroni kind of methodically working his way in. Tries to pass through. Fernandez working hard, but the big hit. That's a big play by Bale. Ball still loose though. Guinea pops on the ball, and Trent wants it on the back call as Fernandez was knocked down. And he's a little gimpy as he gets up. Same with Bale. Gliding. And Brock's got the ball up at the other end. Brandon Stahl running around behind the net. Lobs it up top. One hopper to Barassa.
I don't anticipate, Justin Kennedy making too many adjustments after that first half, playing, near perfect lacrosse, especially offensively. Really sitting on the ball. But it's Trent. They're going to probably want to try to get a couple of different looks on offense and maybe try something different on defense too.
Moving around the outside. Now, when you're saying, particularly in offense, you mean near perfect lacrosse, or you don't anticipate adjustments? Because I'd say, if anything, the defense has been near perfect.
I mean, the entire team, I think, for the most part, they've been doing a great job in following this game plan, a very simple game plan that Justin Kennedy's established.
Oh, and there's a goal just coming out of nowhere. Wow, Brock goes up 5-1, and that is just here, Trent. Deflating his breath.
Yeah, that's a massive goal for Brock to continue this run they're going on, and like I said, continue to just inject this Trent team with negativity. The energy was pretty high with the last 5 minutes left for Trent, and now it's gone completely right back down. Trent's got to get a possession here, try to get on the board, and like you said, you gotta, it's not time to panic, but you gotta start thinking, you gotta start pushing the pace here.
Beaudoin running down with the opening face-off. Oh, and he misses the shot. They'll get possession again, though.
Assist number 7, Brandon Stahl. Rip kick from Stahl.
You talked a little bit about the importance of the first goal of the game, and I would say, this is even more important than the first goal of the second half, right? That's a big one.
Massive, absolutely massive. Like I said, it gives Brock a sense of, hey, we're still in the driver's seat. We still have control of this game.
Murdoch on Slade again. Slade again heading into the far corner. The far reaches of the corner, that is. Gives it off to Stahl. Oh, there's a strip. Oh, but Stahl gets it back, and almost a huge play by Shot to get that loose ball. But knock it loose, but wasn't able to come up with it. These possessions are so important. I mean, that's the one thing as guys who have watched and played a lot of boxing and a lot of field lacrosse, I love both the games. Possession, you have to cherish it in box lacrosse, but you're going to get back in 30 seconds.
Exactly. With no shot clock and the way that Brock is holding onto this ball, it seems like it's an eternity until Trent gets possession as well, and that also gets you mentally as well. These Trent players, feeling like they haven't touched the ball in so long, and then they try to force things, and then the ball goes right back to Brock, and they do the same thing. Sit on the ball and wait for that perfect opportunity, and for the most part, they have been capitalizing on those perfect opportunities.
Slade trotting along the back line, way over into the corner. He's got hit in the shoulder by a leaf. It really is lovely here. I mean, you can see across the way the athletic building, the Walker complex, with some trees up it, Brock Tower in the background. It's pretty nice. Behind us is a lovely wooded area. It's just quite bucolic here.
Yeah, and you look behind there, you see the old Lacrosse field that they played off the Thunderdome. I mean, I've seen some games up there where it's just been a complete mud bowl. To say the least, this alumni field is quite the upgrade.
Slade getting moving. He comes out, spins back against Murdoch, gets a shot, saved by Holton. That ball's on the ground, bounces straight to Slade. He's flattened. Oh, and they're going to throw a flag, and it looks like another one. Murdoch with the second hit. After Sean had thrown the first one, Slade was knocked down, and then Murdoch came and may have laid a stick on him on the ground.
Good officiating, thank you.
We'll see what the calls are. It looks like we've got two coming. 5:04 into the third quarter. The clock has stopped so that we can get the penalties assessed. And nobody has gone to the penalty box for Trent, or the penalty chair.
We'll see here.
Hey, 33, Tito, at the bottom, please, okay?
Unnecessary roughness, 1 minute. Points down 2 for 1.
So they each get unnecessary roughness for one. And I'll tell you, I get the Murdoch call because he's on the ground.
Yeah.
He goes and takes it. The first one was just a body check.
Yeah, no, the first one was, and you could hear the bencher say it's a Lacrosse. The second one you got a call.
Yeah.
I mean, Slade's on the ground. You take that extra shot there. But that first call, I don't know about that one. And that's a play there where, you know,
make that call.
Like we said, the
1 minute
the momentum continue to, you can just feel the field keep on tilting down in favor of Brock. You give this skilled group another opportunity with, you know, 2 men down to score. I mean,
well, you know they're going to score here. I mean, with a minute. I mean, that's the reality, and it is tough when you get those two calls, especially the first one. It just looked like a hit. There's a huge save by Holton. Though. Let's see how much time Trent can kill. The big thing, they're going to say procedure and give the ball back to Brock. I didn't see what that one was for.
The Trent bench actually was in the way there. I couldn't quite see, but that's absolutely deflating for this Trent team.
Oh, I was just going to say, let's see how much time they can kill. There's a pass that's going to go out of bounds on the far side. Leclerc sprinting over to get the ball. The big thing here is get it over midfield.
15.
Got to try to get it to a shorty here.
Great job by Leclerc so far. Just 5 seconds left as Leclerc falls down, gets back up, controls it. What a great play by Leclerc.
I guess you don't need to get it to the shorty. Great job by Leclerc to kill that off.
Yeah.
Another great timeout call by this Trent coaching staff.
Yeah, all that effort. And, you know, we've talked about how they've had some great plays and made some things happen, and then something happens to deflate it. And, again, I think it was a good time because you saw, like you said, Jeff McKinley, you could see, thought Leclerc had made a great play all that time, killed the whole penalty, and then it looked like they were in danger of losing the ball. And he immediately jumped on the timeout. And, you know, that's just smart management of your time. And to kill that. Now, we said Brock's going to score. They did not. And so many times you see in a situation like that, when you kill something like that, it actually swings the momentum the other way. So maybe there's a silver lining for Trent.
Yeah, exactly. And Trent's got to get a possession here, get their looks. And this time, I think you've got to come up with a goal here.
Yeah.
You know, you can't keep letting that negativity sink in the offense. This offense is, we talked about it. They know they're good. You know, they'll let you know they're good. They'll score and they'll tell the defense, I beat you, I scored, and they have your number. They haven't been able to do that too often today. Like you said, Brock's defense has played near perfect, and with the exceptions where they haven't, you know, Alex Guinea has actually made a couple of big stops as well, or Trent's just missing the net by a little bit. It's just the bounces haven't come from them yet.
The other thing at this point, I think, is Danny Mickle with the goal.
Yep.
Great, you know, nice play with the use of 16 goal scorer, but we haven't seen a ton of Jeff Fernandez, Garrett Eddy, and Cam Garland, who scored 25, 24, and 28 goals, the highest scoring trio in CUFLA. And they need to get those guys involved.
Yeah.
And I mean, credit to Brock for taking them away, but you've got to make something happen with those three.
You got to make some adjustments and find ways to get guys free. And they did do that near the end, where they brought Jeff Fernandez out so wide, and he made him dodge upfield to come across to open up that middle of the field, and they found Garland in the middle of the field. He dropped the pass, and they weren't able to. So it's just, they have to capitalize here on big opportunities, and this is a
Garrett
opportunity.
Garrett Eddy starts with the ball. He's been playing attack this year. Last year he was really a midfielder, and because he's so dynamic, can make so much stuff happen, runs. His weakness, or his Achilles heel was he would tend to try and do too much on his own. At attack, he doesn't have to do that. Right now, they're letting him run around for a little bit, give the defense a bit of a rest, get things set up, get the specific play they want, and they're going to let him try and create something. And he's going to hit the man in front and a goal. That's a beauty. We said Eddy and Fernandez have to get involved. Eddy to Fernandez to the back of the net.
And that's perfect. You get a different look, and that's exactly what I said. You have to try different things. So what do? They bring Eddy up midfield, have him dodge, and it's a dummy dodge. He's not taking it actually to the net, but it draws the attention from Brock's defense. They look, and Fernandez just comes right behind the net, gets that back cut, and he's the type of player where he gets time and space. He's going to bury it. He picks corners and box across. Never mind a big, huge net and field across. And we talked about how Brock has been near perfect. That's probably their biggest mistake so far that they've made, and Trent has finally made them pay for it.
And we saw a couple lapses like that from Brock yesterday against Ottawa, where their defenders kind of went for a bit of a doze, and Ottawa guys got into open space. And you can kind of understand it because they were heavy favorites.
Yeah.
And that's how Ottawa came back to tie it 4-4, and then they were pretty sharp the rest of the way. But it will really cost you against Trent. Ottawa's got some good scorers, some good players, but Trent is deadly in offense.
We saw exactly that. That was the most impressive possession I've seen for Trent so far.
Absolutely.
And they got to keep trying looks like that. You can't keep just doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's a credit to the coaching staff of Trent for trying something different to get a different look.
And I'll tell you, Ethan Shaw got a bit of a break there as you're talking. As Brandon Staller, Slade was running across, and Shaw got his stick right up under the face mask of the Brock forward, and kind of lucky that nobody was watching, because even without a lot of intensity or intent, that's probably a penalty if you knock a guy's helmet back on his head. And here we're going to have a trapping call against Brock. The hell, we're holding the ball on the field, and Trent gets possession. Huge for them. It's 5-2.
And you can hear the bench of Trent right now saying, play smart. We can't, throw away the ball. We have to be smart with it. Every possession counts, and they're certainly right. I mean, after with a big turnover there, you're going to want to make Brock pay again.
It sounded like Josh Washington was saying, watch for moving picks.
Yes.
They like to set picks. They like to open space for each other. You can see Travis Sabolts setting a pick, very carefully not moving. That shot by Eddy is stopped, and he can't believe that he didn't get that one. He's going to go and press.
You got to know what you're doing if you're going up. Go to.
And you can hear one of the players coming up just saying, yelling to his teammates, you've got to know what you're doing if you're going to come out at this time of the game. And it's a good point. You got to be ready. You got to be on the same page with your teammates.
Yeah.
That one was a little bit of a strange play, and Eddy looked like he was a little surprised about what was happening.
So I think that's what it was. There was supposed to be some sort of play where Eddy would, drive down the alley and something was to come of it. He didn't have anything, so he did take a shot, and it was, a scoring opportunity. Sometimes you do see scoring plays come from broken plays where, something doesn't happen and a player sees something different there, but obviously frustrating for Trent that they didn't get the look that they wanted.
Cole Murdoch traveling all over the field with Brandon Slade. Slade was up near the restraining line, the high line, and Murdoch right up with him. Now they're down just above GLE as they drive towards the net. Boy, I think Houghton might like that one back, because I don't think Connor Ham was expecting that pass. And when they're about 2 feet away from a guy and pass it to him when he's not expecting it, he will not catch it, but they get the ball back.
It seems Brock just getting these bounces, whether it's due to hard work, picking up the loose ball, getting the rebounds, or just, sometimes it's luck as well. And it just seems like, you talk about home field advantage, and they certainly are getting it today.
And Brock using their depth here. This is Stahl, but Connor Quano and Mitchell McKenzie, and it's Connor Ham who buries it. Saying the depth guys coming and playing a role, but Ham just tucks that one in. And again, Ham doesn't do a lot. I mean, this sounds critical. I say he doesn't do a lot. He just gets to open space and puts the ball in the net.
Yeah, and you know what? Stahl with a great dodge there. Now he's starting to get a little more involved in the offense. He's such a shifty player where, you know, he can really, you know, pose some different matchups because how shifty he is. Sometimes he's too shifty and kind of out-dangles himself, but there's a perfect play. And we saw him do the exact same thing yesterday, but from the other side of the net, where he just kind of shovels a pass with one hand, and that's so hard to defend. It's hard to pull off, but if you can pull it off, it's great. But you know, if that goes elsewhere, I'm sure Justin Kennedy's not going to be too happy with it. But Ham cashes in on it, and it's perfect there.
Trent gets the ball after a possession call, procedure call. Looked to me like Nico Baudouin reached out and kind of grabbed the ball with his hand on that faceoff. Peroni successfully evades the check. Goes up to Finley. Finley's cutting to the net. Feeds behind the net. Fernandez trouble picking it up, and a defender right on top of him. Bale goes after it. Peroni goes in and throws a hit. Flag is up. .30-second interference call to Nick Finley.
30 seconds. Those are those bounces that, you know, if you're Trent, you really, really want to, you know, come back after that goal, try to get a long possession there, try to find, you know, go through your progressions, get a goal there. But a tough interference call there. Brock once again going to try to increase this lead here.
And, you know, there's 7:25 to go here in the third quarter. So with a 4-goal deficit, it's not too late. Oh, there's a big miss in the front by Houghton. But I'll tell you, you know, time is ticking away. There is time to come back. Trent can do this, but every minute that goes by, it gets a little harder. There's a shot. I'm not sure if Holton got a little bit of that as it goes wide. The penalty has expired for Trent, or it's just about to. Yep. There we go. Trent does have Garrett Eddy back on the field now, taking Finley's spot, and they run it ahead.
Brandon
Armstrong. Yeah.
I talked about him earlier in the game, saying that, you know, he's a guy that, you know, I wouldn't say his role has, you know, lessened in the last couple of years, but he's still a very, very effective defender. I think it's the fact that now he has some more defenders around him, so he doesn't have to be heavily relied on as much. But he's come up with a couple of big picks and running the ball up the floor as well.
DeMarchi with the ball. They want the ball over this side. Almost a little too casual with it. Nice swat attempt there by Adam McKinnon, who's come in and played a few shifts lately in this game and bringing some energy for the Badgers. He's picking up DeMarchi. They're going to give it to Eddy.
I see something here where they really want to, you know, dodge from this side here, bring it across, down that alley.
Oh, Eddy gets a step, driving down, nice slide, but they get it back in the shot. Oh, there's a great slide across. And you can hear them saying, you can probably hear, they're saying again with Eddy, and they want him getting down. Here is the drive, a little spin by Nick Karam, shovel pass. There's a goal by Cole McWilliams. Very similar play to the last Brock goal is that little shovel pass by Karam, and you can hear the coaches saying, let's run it through Eddy, and Karam saw something. We talked about it. If you see something and it's there, go for it. It's 6-3, a 3-goal deficit. This is the closest Trent's been since the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Cole McWilliams probably saw that, hey, I have a shorty on me right now, and you know, Karam sees it as well. He recognizes it and just gives a little bit of a flip. And when you're a short stick on GLE there, it's so hard. You don't have the long pole to guide him back down, you know, take away his top side. And when McWilliams pretends he's going to go upfield and just gives a nice little cutback roll, and, you know, he's in front of the cage, and Guinea tries to make a stop, but he puts a 5-hole.
Travis Ferguson comes in to take the face-off for Trent. Thought he'd won it, but it's called for procedure, so the ball will go the other way. Ferguson having a chat with Baudouin as he heads off. But boy, Cole McWilliams, who set that one up, he's a guy, he lost all of the 2015 summer when he blew out his knee in his first game with the Peterborough Junior A Lakers, but came back and he's such a good year with the Lakers. He's so hard working. He will do whatever you need. He doesn't worry about how much he's got the ball, how much he scores. He didn't score a ton this year, a couple of goals and about 3 goals and 8 assists, but boy, he's so smart and will do whatever you need, and he just saw the opportunity. Brock now will try and get this one back. They lead by 3. We're down to 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Well, 4:05 at this point. There's Ripka trying to get by Lyman Beatty. They get back to Stahl behind. Shot on him. That ball's just kind of thrown up. A flag coming. Let's see what this call is. It's a 1-minute slashing call.
And I think anytime, you know, a hard slash comes down like that and then does come on the leg there, the official's usually going to call that there. And one thing I will say, this Brock team that has been known in past for being very undisciplined has done a good job playing smart and not getting into this, especially in such an intense game, which we saw a lot of theatrics go on in the first, before the game started, I should say.
That ball stripped from Stahl. Great job. Nice strip by Ethan Schott, and then the heads-up play to run back and circle into his own end, give them a chance to kill this one.
Yeah, Ethan Schott having himself a great game so far.
He's been so good.
I mean, you know, he's come up big. That's a play there where it's so risky. You're already a man down. You go for that slide, but, you know, he's so precise with that check and strips the ball.
Brock fairly content not to put too much pressure on here. 15 seconds left in the penalty. Kyle Holton with plenty of time. No pressure, lots of room. Nice methodical clear. Travis Zabolts comes on in the field to take the spot of Justin Leith, who had the penalty. Shots available, and he takes that pass up the field, gets it over to the middle to Leclerc. Trent is running the ball all through there. All through their long poles. Leclerc is going up into the offensive zone. They were calling for him to come off. And now he's coming off. He likes to jump up into the offensive zone once in a while, but they want to get short six out there. And Finley will be the 6th one as Eddie has it along our near sideline to your left on the screen. Harris on him. Eddie's going to go back and reset because they weren't quite prepared. Minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Trent down by 3. Eddie drives across, hard pass. Garland pulls it down, bail on him. Garland driving and then shoots, saved by Guinea, but it pops right out to Fernandez. He grabs the ball, and it looks like a Badger is hurt, limping along the field. That's Connor McGee. Really looking tentative on his right foot. Garrett Eddy with the pass down low. There's a shot, big save on Finley by Alex Guinea. That ball's going to head out. And Brock will get possession. Bit of an error there. A Trent player just needs to sprint to the end line as soon as that ball went up in the air. I think, you know, the closest guy to it can go after, but somebody else has to go to the line, because a nice play by the Brock player to make it look like he was going to get there in time. And then he can just let it roll out and get possession. But a great strip. Garland gets it back on the hard ride and runs past one defender. Rumbling in. He's going to go to the net, runs over the goalie, and they will not be happy about that. He did have someone checking him, but Garland went hard into Alex Guinea. Clock is stopped.
Once again, cooler heads do prevail. Nothing really coming of that. It's a situation where you think it's twice now where, you know, things could get ugly, but both teams are recognizing that this is a big game. And see what.
And now the refs are getting together. They're calling Nick Ripke over. I think the refs want to talk because Trent is asking why they don't have the ball. Not sure what the call is. I haven't heard any call from the officials. Not sure if anyone down at the far end heard what that call was.
Yeah, I was like once you get it, because I didn't really play.
So it sounds like
we weren't.
Kevin Kaplis, one of our CUFLA executives, says it looks like it was offsetting calls with the push on the back of Garland going to the net and then Garland in the crease. So they offset.
Although we did see a similar situation last game, yesterday.
Now, the quarter has expired, and Ripke's running in. There was a shot by Brock after the buzzer. They took a shot, and then a Trent player took exception to it. And Cole Murdoch has just snapped his stick in half. He is just livid. A flag did go up. I'm not sure whether it's to Brock for the late shot or to Trent for the reaction to it. I'm guessing by Cole Murdoch's reaction that it's on him.
That would be my guess. I mean, you always get the second one.
Yeah.
Not always do you get that first call, but I mean, that's not the way that Trent's going to want to end that quarter there. After they had a very productive third quarter there, getting a couple of goals and kind of gaining a little bit of momentum there.
All right, sorry, Zach Engel is down at the far end. Go ahead, Zach.
Thanks, guys. The Trent Excalibur are still in pursuit of their elusive first Baggataway Cup championship. With 20 minutes to go, they trail by 3 to the Brock Badgers, and if they want to come out on top, they're going to have to tap a little bit into their superb recruiting class, which has gotten them to this point of the season, including true freshman Cam Garman, who led the team with 28 goals. As of right now, he's been held off the score sheet in terms of goals and assists, and if they want to come back against the host Brock Badgers, they're going to need a real big effort from him in this fourth quarter. Guys, we'll see if that can happen.
And we're going to be up soon with this fourth quarter. Trent's got some momentum. They've outshot Brock 5-3 in each of the second and third quarters. They've got some momentum. Trent definitely, I would say at this point, controlling probably the better of the flow, the scoring chances. But Alex Skinner with a couple of huge saves, and Brock is bending but not breaking. That's a dangerous strategy against Trent. I don't know if it's a strategy. I think it's just you have to. They're playing hard, and Trent's just very talented offensively. But Brock's done a good job keeping them down. I mean, 3 goals for this Trent team for 3 quarters is unbelievable. Now we're going to see what this call is. We haven't heard. The referees are meeting to do their stick checks at midfield, and we'll find out if Trent's down a man for an extended period. It's not a great way to start a quarter.
No, certainly not, especially when you're down. And like you said, they did gain good momentum there. They controlled most of that, especially that third quarter there. And that's one thing that I like that this Trent team has done. They've had some nice adjustments. They've seen some different looks. I like how they're now initiating the dodge from midfield, trying to get their attackmen open rather than trying to, go one-on-one with their attackmen. Their attackmen are their most skilled players, but sometimes you got to initiate from midfield to get them open, and that's what they've done here.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got Karam and Mikkel and Zabolts can all create some things from midfield, can all get things started, definitely draw and dish, there's no question.
And the thing is, too, you can then bring up your attackmen up top to midfield to get them to create stuff as well. And that's what we've seen with Eddie a couple of times as well.
Now both coaches over talking to the officials, getting an explanation. Justin Kennedy and Jeff McKinley. Okay, so we're going to have 5-on-5 play. Brandon Stahl did get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, I'm assuming for the shot after the buzzer, unless it was something that happened after, but Cole Murdoch does take the minute. And, so it balances out, it's okay, although if you're Trent, boy, if the Brock penalty was coming first, you'd love to have that man up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something where we talked to both coaching staff, and they said that, mistakes and keeping your ego in check is going to be huge. And sometimes you just got to swallow your pride there and let them take the penalty.
Great face-off win by Karam, and he gets the ball, bounced away from him for a second. Shovel pass, shot by Fernandez, goes wide. Great hustle by Fernandez to get the ball back. He's got a man right on him, McGee, all over him, but he passes it out. Leclerc in the offensive zone, the LSM. He's going to come off now and let Garrett Eddy try and create something. Leclerc changes direction twice, and now he's going back in. He's got some space. They have an advantage. Karam is coming back though. There goes Leclerc to cut in the middle, and boy, I think he was actually available there for Cam Garland. Garland is, as Zach mentioned, led the team with 28 goals. There's a battle. Ball's on the floor. Nice job hustling back by Dan Mickle, a captain with this team, to get the ball away from Connor Ham. And Trent maintains possession. 15 seconds left.
10 seconds, Mark.
10 now on the penalties as Nick Karam trots across the top. Now the one edge, because Trent is on our right and they're in the offensive zone. When the penalties are released, I was going to say Trent can get their player out first, but actually the sprint and the goal though, Mickle from almost where he scored his earlier goal. As I'm watching the guys come out of the penalty box, Dan Mickle has space. He just didn't get picked up and he rips it home.
Yeah, though, it's one of those things where it's not the look that they were anticipating on having, but Danny Mickle seeing some space and, takes a great shot there. And that's a save that we've seen Alex Guinea, make all game. And he's probably going to want that one back, but he can't hang his head there because he has made some huge stops, especially in the
Trent goal scored by number 23, Danny Mickle. Assistant number 9,
so
Nick
Mickle's
Karam.
second of the
Mickle
game.
from Karam,
Fernandez
time of the goal,
and McWilliams with 107. And we've got 5 different goal scorers for Brock. Connor Ham with a couple, but Slade, Ripka, Davis Neal, and Grayson Houghton have all scored as well.
That's a great face-off.
Baudouin does that. Oh, that shot goes wide by Slade, or by Stahl, but Slade sprinting down on the wing just to get possession. Here comes Travis Ferguson. They're trying to get him to win some draws. Boy, it's a tough call going up against Baudouin, but Ferguson has done a nice job for them in a relief role. That's one of the things you'll see in these Baggataway Cup teams is that depth.
Yeah, and that's one thing that like I said earlier, I think this Brock team, the amount of depth that they have at the midfield position, and even on LSM and on defense, it just gives them such a different look. They're known to be a team. Back in the day, they had a ton of depth and a ton of professional lacrosse players. Now, they don't have the pros, but they have guys that are unbelievable athletes at all different positions, and I think that's been the big difference from this year and the previous 4.
And they've got their 6 starters out on the field now in the offensive zone. We've seen Mitchell McKenzie, Grayson Houghton, some of these guys coming in to give them a spell. And part of the reason for that, of course, is so they're healthy and fresh. And there's a strip, and that's going to be a call against Brock as he held the stick. It's going to be just a possession call, no penalty, but Trent happy to have the possession right here.
Stahl's really got to, move the ball. I liked him playing midfield, to be totally honest. Now he's back on attack. And
nice play there by Lyman Beatty to knock the ball in. Huge hit on Eddie. And oh my goodness, they're calling out now. If they were being consistent, that's a penalty, because that's exactly what Shaka called for earlier. For that big hit, but the ball pops out of bounds. And I'm not saying that's a penalty, because I don't think it is.
But they did call it earlier.
The way that it's being called in this game, that's a penalty.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a fair point.
I was going to say.
Alex Guinea has the ball. And take his time. Still lots of time. 16 minutes and 10 seconds right now left in this game. So Trent's got plenty of time to get the 2-goal lead back. But we've seen how Brock can bleed the clock. Alex Pace throws it ahead. Offside call on Brock, and Trent gets possession. That's a huge call. Trent gets it back, and they throw Leclerc with this low pass, but it's picked up nicely. A great scoop by Cam Garland. The freshman, again, he is a true freshman. He is a young player, played with the Whitby Warriors this summer, and he is a big body with some tremendous talent.
Yeah, went to the Hill Academy last year. He's still on track to transfer to High Point University next year once he's done with his 1 year at Trent here. So a lot of promising talent for him as well. He's not the fastest guy ever, but we've seen him bull rush through some big bodies out on the field here.
Josh Harris traveling with Garrett Eddy, who loves to set up from the wing and drive in, holds on to the ball, shoots, scores! And that's what I've been waiting to see from Garrett Eddy, because we see it so often, usually at least once a game, often more than that, and that's a huge one. And early in the game, we heard Brock loud and excited. Trent now the excited team. They've got a lot of momentum. And Brock, there's some some heads down, some really not very positive body language on the Badgers bench. You honestly at this point wouldn't realize that Brock's ahead 6-5. They're still winning this game. They still have an excellent chance to win this game.
Oh,
it just feels like the momentum's
scored by
all
number
going
2,
the way of the
Garrett
white
Eddy.
team today.
Unassisted. Eddie unassisted.
The
Time
only
of goal,
thing here is here, number
4:45.
21 in red is almost a momentum killer in himself because he almost wins every single draw. He might not win the face, or sorry, the loose ball, but he's winning the draw almost every time. And boom, just like that, the bench is silent again for Trent.
Ethan shot with pressure on Stallboy. Shots played.
Oh yeah, he had a terrific summer with the Green Gales this year, being named the Defensive Player of the Year in the Ontario Junior B Lacrosse League, and he's just a guy that, not only is he a shutdown defender in his own end, he has the ability to move the ball up the floor as well, and you see him do the same thing out in the field lacrosse game.
Big dodge by Barassa, and another one, but a last-second strip. That is a huge play because Trent had one player get beat, and then it looked like trouble, but they get the ball and come back the other way.
It was a beautiful move by Barassa there, but just left his stick hanging a little bit, and that trail check came out and stripped him there.
I'm trying to see who was it. Was it Leclerc that stripped that one from him?
It looked like that's what it was.
Yeah, but now Brock gets it back the other way. Pressure from Trent, and the ball's knocked loose. Picked up by Eddie. He stays in bounds and tosses it over. And Trent gets a timeout.
It's a great timeout.
A smart timeout. Now, it turns out they didn't need it, but they didn't know because Eddie stayed in bounds and got the pass over to a man who was open, but it looked like he was going out of bounds. It was a smart play.
Trent has called a timeout. Big thank you once again to all the sponsors
to go.
of the 2016 CUFLA Baggataway Cup. Hogtown Lacrosse, Toronto Rock Lacrosse, St. Catharines MVP Jim Bradley, Niagara Daredevils, St. Catharines Minor Lacrosse Association, the St. Catharines Junior A Athletics,
you look at the two rosters, you just go down the point totals between both teams,
Crawford, Smith, and
they've been deadly
Niagara Sports
all
Commission,
year long. Both
Trent
squads
University
just a very
Athletics,
offensive-minded team.
13th Street Winery,
but that's the thing,
the
in
city of
championship
St.
games, they're
Catharines,
so close.
Cully's
You have to make
Original
adjustments.
Sports Bar,
And kudos to both
Pizza Jerry's,
coaches that they found
Wild
ways
Wings St. Catharines,
the defense for
Beach
Brock
Sports
has
Bar
done a
and Grill,
fantastic job,
Swiss
especially in
Chalet,
that first
Glendale
half.
Avenue,
Trent,
and
their
Grand
offense have
Boulevard.
found
A
different
big
ways
thank
to
you
try
the
to beat that
2016
defense as well.
CUFLA
And
Baggataway Cup
it's
sponsors.
going to be the same thing. It's going to probably be even tighter here. What you want to see from Brock, talked about how disciplined they've been. Yes, they haven't taken many penalties, but they haven't really been very smart with the ball. A couple of different possession calls here as well. They got to be smarter, especially with a lead. You don't want to play with a lead because that's one of the worst things you can do, is playing tentative and scared.
Playing as though you've got the lead.
Exactly.
You got to play like it's 0-0.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what they need to do.
Trent with possession will try to even things up. And the interesting thing, I mean, you look at Trent, they're the explosive offensive team. You expect maybe more. And on defense, you think, you think Brock has the big names.
The clock is being reset to 13 minutes. And
will start with the ball. Trent has used both their timeouts in this half, so they're going to have to just play themselves out there. Really good. Figure things out. It's actually not Eddie. It's Nick Karam starting with the ball. Eddie is down on the stack. Pass across. Oh, a shovel pass by Fernandez didn't work to Karam. And Brock takes possession. Boy, that's a tough one to give away. Fernandez is going to try and come over with pressure on McGee. Brock, a very patient clear. Denny just walking the ball up until somebody comes to press him, and then he just lobs it over to Bale, who is left by Eddie to come and pressure.
I will say Connor McGee, talked to him a little bit before, he's a senior on this team, a big leader as well, and he's the type of guy that you don't really notice too much because he plays such sound defense, but he's come up with some big plays today.
He has played very well. Boy, it's one of those games where, again, we're not picking the players of the game. The organizing committee is doing that, but I'd be looking on the defensive side, on both sides. I think there's been had some good offensive performances, but I'd be looking at, I honestly would say Ethan Schott for Trent.
Yes.
I think he's been outstanding. And on the other side, I mean, Adam Kurtzmeyer has been very good. I think Josh Harris has been excellent as well. Harris actually taking a bit of a break right now.
But that's just a testament to the depth that this Brock team has. They're able to give their poles, breaks from time to time because they have other defenders that can hop in and, hold their own in a tight game.
Dan Mickle playing D midi here on Barassa. Gives it off to Pace. Cameron Page on him. Pace setting something up. Cameron Page staying with him. Trying to isolate a bit. You see Leclerc waiting to slide if he needs to. Gets back to Ripka in the slot. Great job by Leclerc. The kind of thing that often it's easy to go unnoticed, but boy, he was just getting over into position to help and then back on his man because Ripka, as we've seen, so dangerous in the slide. Pace still with the ball. The Pace versus Page matchup. Now they get it to Ripka, and Leclerc is out on him. Ripka back out. Right side of the restraining line. Slade takes it as the stall warning goes on. So Brock's got to get inside that restraining line and stay in there. Murdoch on Slade with a new shaft on his stick.
I saw like one.
That's it, White! Let's go, boys!
That's like always with the pack. You have to.
So Slade's taking lots of time back there. 10-12 to go here in the fourth quarter. Brock just, after that, you could see how excited Trent was and how kind of deflated the Brock team was after that last goal. So this is a strategy to kind of, I think, just get things back to even ground. Now they're going to start to move. Ham shoots, save.
On the back!
Shot clock for 30 seconds and it's like
They're going to get that interference
They're going to get the second one. As you said, so many times in the second one, that's where Brock's been very disciplined in not responding. And that was a Trent player just running over a Brock player after he'd seen the same thing happen to his guy and not get called. But you just got to be aware of it. Slade will get it,
I was going to say, well, you'll see Slade here. He
goes to the net, passes across. Barassa tries to just tap it in, doesn't get it. It's scooped up by Armstrong. He's going to go back to Holt, and Trent, with 9:12 to go here in the fourth quarter, has possession.
I don't know why, they're not going with Slade almost every time on Murdoch. Like I said, Murdoch is a very strong defender in tight situations, but when he gets pulled out there, Slade's just too fast, and it's drawing the slide up, and they're able to find guys. But Barassa, all he has to do there is catch the ball and then shoot. He tries to quick stick it there and doesn't even have full possession of the ball. It's, it's just
I
little
agree with
things.
you. I thought he had time. I mean, there was a defender coming, so not a lot of time.
No.
Not often you're going to get that quick stick.
Yeah, and Slade's done a great job, exposing the one weakness that Murdoch has, and it is his foot speed. Up and down, he's a quick guy, but it's side to side. And you know what? Slade makes, some of the best pulls in this league, look silly at times because how shifty he is.
Now Trent taking their time. DeMarkey just running around the outside. Fakes the pass, now he makes it across to Mickle. Garland and Finley setting up in the slot. Now they'll spread out, and Finley will take the pass. Has a short stick on him. He's going to head to the corner to start a dodge. Isolation, everyone's over at the net or further. Finley with a spin. Drives a little push off with that arm. Tries the toe drag, goes low. Up top, Garland's got it. He's going to shoot. Saved by Kinney, but Dan Mickle is almost at the line as that ball gets out. Great anticipation by Mickle to maintain possession. A good chance for Garland. The rookie 28-goal scorer, not able to connect on that one. Mickle watched by Harris. Harris tries for the strip, almost got it. Mickle shoots. That one's going to go out. And Guinea races back. It's going to be Brock ball. Garrett Eddy saying he was there first. They're going to give possession to Brock.
And that's all possible there by Connor McGee, recognizing that it was not even a full step, but he noticed there's an opportunity for him to slide, force that shot, and that's huge. That's huge, and that's the defense that Brock was playing at the start of the game. They've kind of got away from having those tight slides, but when it matters most there, Connor McGee with a great slide.
Brock taking their time. Guinea and Bale back there. Now McGee open. Guinea was going to throw it to McGee and saw Nick Finley just waiting to jump on that route. So Brandon Stahl comes back to help out. He's going to use his speed in the midfield to help out and gets the clear successfully. And now Brock will take a timeout.
The Brock Badgers have called a timeout.
6:44 to go.
Coming up at 4 p.m. Semi-final number 2 this afternoon, featuring the Guelph Griffins and the Western Mustangs.
Yeah, it's like that's what I said. The one concern for me there was, you start thinking of some of the Brock teams in the past where, in crunch time, whether it's taking penalties, turning the ball over, not a great shot selection. They've proven that, the veteran players that have been here for a while, like the Slaves, Bale, McGee, they're coming up in big situations and calming this team down. And, it doesn't look like a team that they are quiet right now, but it doesn't seem like they're hanging their heads. They're not worried about blowing this. They're just very calm and cool and collected right now. And that's good to see here. But Trent, they're hungry. They want this win so bad because they think that they should be respected as one of the top programs in CUFLA.
And they came into this league with a real surge. At first, they had guys like Josh Washington out there. They had a lot of really quality, like professional players, high-level box cross players, and they got into the Baggataway Cups and they went in and they had some results and never really followed it through with a good Baggataway Cup. And that kind of haunts you a little bit, but that was a while ago. I think these guys see themselves as a new group, and they're just here to make their own history. Brock, of course, has the pressure to 18 championships, and you have the 1986 first Brock team to win it is at halftime.
You have Sean Williams watching as well, too, right? So it's a lot of pressure, and these guys know. I mean, some of these guys have played with players that have won championships before. Not many, though. And that's the thing. It's almost, like we said, there's been 2 graduating classes that haven't come home with a win, which is absolutely unheard of for this program. They know.
Literally unheard of. It's never happened.
It's crazy. And you know what? This team is definitely a different Brock identity that we've seen, but it's they've found their identity and they've played to it and they've stuck to it almost this entire
Stahl with the ball, and the ball, his stick is knocked out. There's another strip. They get the ball. Great effort by Stahl to get it back, but then Trent with the strip, and Garrett Eddy will take it from Cameron Page. Trent's going to set up. 6:20 to go in this regulation time. Trent looking to tie this up, and they've got some, again, most of the energy seems to be on the Trent sideline. This Brock team is usually really loud. It's quite quiet right now. It's interesting talking to Justin Kennedy before the game. Oh, here comes Garrett Eddy driving down. He's repelled. Goes up top to the Bolts. Pass over to Garland. The 2 big men trading passes. Saved by Kinney. Almost had one there for Garland, but Fernandez will start with it. But Kennedy was saying, yeah, they're loose. You like them to be loose. You want them to be tight, but it's too loose. It's such a fine line with any team. Here comes the Bolts driving the net. Shoots, scores, 5-0. Travis the Bolts, who was a big part of the attack last year, stepped back to midfield and less substantial role this year, but a huge goal right there to tie this up. 5:26 to go.
Massive, and we talked about how there isn't too much veteran leadership experience on this team, and then you see a guy like Zabolts going into a different role, playing midfield. We talked about how he is a mismatch problem, and he poses that right there and buries a huge goal for this Trent team.
And we talked about the size and the bullying and the stretch, like he can bull his way through, but he showed his feet can move there. I mean, sometimes the big guys get a bad rap as being slow. I think Zabolts can go pretty well.
Yeah.
One guy I think was Tyler Roach.
Yes.
Going into the NLL draft here, everyone was like, oh, he got slow feet. He played attack for Ireland in the World Championships, so it was pretty good at it. He can actually move. But here's a ball that's still being battled for, and eventually Brock comes up with it. That's a huge scoop on that ground ball.
Kirkmeyer, the All-Canadian LSM, showing why he was, nabbed an All-Canadian there.
Boy, he's having a strong game out there.
He certainly is. I went to see his 2 years ago.
Brasso with the ball. Watch my shot way out there. Page is up on pace line. Trent with all kinds of pressure. Double. Now they're going to let Shot take care of him. Oh, here comes a late cutter. Beatty will get out on him. Looks like Kyle Holton has some trouble with his helmet.
Where was it?
So the official is called, the referee has called timeout.
Timeout on the field.
And is helping him with the buckle.
Oh, okay.
They're going to put the clock to 4:05.
The clock is being reset to 4:05. Game clock being reset to 4:05.
It's pretty surprising. Great testament to the defense that's been played, the coaching by these clubs. Boy, if you had to pick a guy, so let's play a little like it's almost overtime. If you had to pick a guy who's going to score the big goal next for each team.
I think you got to think it's it's going to be Landon Slade for Brock. He's so dynamic. He's great. And Trent, I think you got to go with Fernandez. I mean, he's the guy that they try to find on the crease.
I'm going to go Nick Ripka slipping into an open space and Garrett Eddy creating something off the wing and just making people miss and then burying them. Slade has the ball now. Ripka takes the pass. So our guys are handling the ball.
Well, they're going to be involved. They
Yes.
might not score, but they're definitely going to be producing.
Cameron Page and Alex Pace again. 3.5 minutes to go here. 3:33 exactly. The cutter is Houghton. Murdoff on him. What a save by Holton and a scoop. Flicked ahead. Armstrong goes after it. Great job to pick it up. Throws it back in. They're going to say he's out of bounds.
That's a great ride there by Brock. Trent not too happy with the call there, but I think that ball does go out.
Yeah.
That's the right call there and a big bounce for Brock. But what a save there!
Oh my God, he has been big for Trent.
I mean, not the greatest of shot. I wouldn't say selection. It's a good shot. Not the best placement, execution there, but it's an awkward save for him to make, and he comes out huge there.
Slade and Murdoff once again. 2:48 left now in this tie game. Boy, this is intense. The winner will head to tomorrow's 1 p.m. Baggataway Cup Championship game. They'll face the winner of this afternoon's Western versus Guelph game. That'll be on at 4 o'clock, just about an hour after we wrap things up here. The stall goes on against Brock. They had it on about 5 or 6 times last night. They don't mind playing with a bit of a stall on to control possession. Murdoff traveling well with Slade, so Slade's just going to turn around and run back. Brock has it within themselves to just hold on to this ball for the next 2:20, but they are going to try and create something now. Ham up top to Pace. Hard chops on the hand. And the stall was on. They stepped outside the restraining line. Trent's got the ball. Great pressure. What a job. And there's the pass by Leclerc. Garland's going to shoot. Scores! Cam Garland! Trent has pulled ahead for the first time in the game with 1:59 to go.
Come on, Nico.
What an sequence there.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, the Trent bench is going nuts. They're excited. Everyone's having Mark Farth, the D coach, has come to the end of their bench, is calling out to his defense, and sit down, stay calm. You want the enthusiasm in the offensive zone. You need the D to be calm. And the first guy to echo it
scored by number 18,
is the man that we've
Cam
enjoyed
Garland.
watching so much, Ethan Shaw.
Assist number 25, Cameron Page.
You get the
Garland
turnover
from
there,
Page,
going out of the box there when the stall's on,
18:01.
and it just looked like there was not enough men back there, and it's tough for a defender. Parker Bale there, waiting. Do I go out to play Garland? But you have Fernandez on the crease there, so he elects to give Garland a shot, and he makes no mistake.
Oh, what a shot by Ham. But he just misses. Brock will maintain possession.
That's it. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. Clock stops on every whistle, right? Every whistle. Thank you. Yes.
All right, 134, 133. We're ticking down. Brock with the ball. Trent with the lead.
No caught goals.
Come on, bro.
You can hear Mark Farthing saying, no cut goals. You can't let somebody cut open. They've got to force their way and earn it. Nothing easy. Trent's backed in. The shot by Rybka. And that one misses. It's Trent ball. Brock sprinting, but Trent was already back there. There's a long outlet pass. Too far. That is a not a good decision.
You can't be doing that.
That's just, you can see the Trent coaches, Mark Farthing, saying, waving both hands and saying, calm down.
Brock with
they
some
could have used it there. But
and then another turnover.
Another one. Huge pickoff by Page. Cameron Page spins. The pass ahead to Eddie. That's who you want to have the ball in the stick up. Pressure by Brock. Now they turn away and let Eddie go. 55 seconds.
Don't fall asleep! Don't fall asleep!
Nick Finley has the ball. 47 seconds. Guinea is going out, helping with some defense, putting some pressure on. The net is open. If someone can get there, the double team on Finley. He throws it way back. It's going to go all the way back to Kyle Holton. And a little shuffle pass at the feet. That is not a good decision. Brock has the ball. What a strip by Ethan Schott.
There's a flag on the ground here, though.
For what? There's a penalty call. Schott has given a penalty for interference for 30 seconds with 25.
The Brock Badgers have called a timeout.
And I gotta tell you, I mean, I gotta readily admit, I went to Trent University. I started working there when I was 12 years old. Trent's been a big part of my life, but I'm trying to look at this as impartially as possible, and I think we called it evenly both ways, but I just did not see a penalty. Is it me?
No. That at this point in the game, I don't see it. 25 seconds left. That's a very defense. Questionable call. That is a very questionable call.
That's my player of the game, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, no doubt.
Whoa. Ethan Schott has taken his helmet off.
30 seconds for
the away from the team. Obviously upset. And he actually came off the bench and said, did they actually call that right there? I'm pretty stunned. And I'll tell you one thing the coaches have been talking about, the coaches of these teams, is that it's the National Lacrosse League is having a coaching or a refereeing clinic today. A lot of guys who would be here are not here. That's guys who haven't done as many games as haven't on the refs. We've talked about the pressure on these teams, on Brock having won the championship, on Trent never having one. There's pressure on these refs. It's a big situation for them too. It's their Baggataway Cup as well.
Yeah, certainly.
You just don't want to see them.
No, you don't. I mean, and for the most part, it has been a fairly, well-called game. Yep. A couple of questionable calls here and there. That one being for sure. But if you're Brock, I mean, you're going to take it no matter what. 25 seconds left. You're down here.
All right, fans. Great.
You've got one more chance here to try to tie this game and send this thing into overtime.
Badgers.
All right. Brock has the ball. Ethan Schott is in the penalty box for 30 seconds, which would take us to overtime. So there's only 25 seconds left in this game.
30 seconds to come in.
And Grayson Houghton.
Trent penalty to number 44.
I thought Houghton was going to take. Houghton does take the ball.
Shot. 30 seconds for interference. Shot. 30 seconds for interference.
To Rybka.
Time of penalty 19:35.
There's Stahl up top. Now it goes to Slade. They hit the cutter. Houghton. That one goes wide, and it's white ball. And it looked like Connor Ham kind of stopped as he was sprinting to the line, and Kyle Holton just ran past him. Now a penalty coming. That's going to be an unsportsmanlike call against Brock. Someone complained. I believe it was Nico Baudouin that's going to get that one, and that's a huge one. 12.9 seconds left. It's a banishment call for Baudouin complaining about that call. It's a free clear, so Garrett Eddy has the ball at midfield. 12.9 seconds left. Trent with a 1-goal lead. They're 12.9 seconds away from heading to the Baggataway Cup Championship game.
Brock penalty to number 21, Nico
Eddie is so elusive. He runs back. Oh, and they blew play in, and now they blow it back.
Once again, Badgers penalty to number 21. Nico Baudouin, 1 minute for unsportsmanlike
And now
conduct.
a minute added
Time of
to the
penalty,
bench
19:47.
for Brock. So they're going to have to bring another player off. Everyone's getting ready to set up at there, but they need to pull a player off. 3 red jerseys around Garrett Eddy. 10.8 seconds left now. And Brock wants the other 2.1 seconds put back on, I think, because play was blown in and the clock started, but the official was still talking to the timers here. Yeah, and you can hear one of the refs say it's 12.9, which is the correct call.
Go backwards, Birdie. Birdie, go backwards.
So they're not going to put the time. They are going to put the time back up. I thought they were just going to wait. So they're going to reset it.
12.9 seconds.
3 players. Parker Bale.
12.9 seconds.
Brandon Slade. Now, Brock's got too many men on the field. They've got 9 runners. They should only have 8. They've got 9 players on. They should be too short. And now they're bringing one up. And that opens Nick Finley. And Garrett, he's yelling to Garrett Eddy. And now Trent just wants the play blown in. Garrett Eddy's waiting. Now Guinea comes to cover Finley, which means there's a couple of Trent players back open way at the back. You see Jeff Fernandez is back by his goaltender, Kyle Holton. Eddy will just throw it back. He's just going to throw it. There's Cole Murdoch, who was hidden in the corner. Stahl trying to get it loose. 6 seconds. He whips it down the field. The ball will not land until there's a second left. That will do it. Trent advances to the Baggataway Cup Championship. The Brock Badgers will go home 7-6. What a thrilling game. Wow.
We knew it was going to be a close game. But this one has been unbelievable, and we talked about how Trent started, only scoring 1 goal.
16.
And that's Brandon Slade has just hurled his helmet about 2/3 of the length, or half the length of the field, and his gloves and his stick. He can't believe the Brock Badgers are stunned. They are just in shock.
And like I said, I mean, we knew this Trent team wasn't going to get shut out. We talked about how they were going to make adjustments in the second half, and that's exactly what they did. They found ways to beat this Brock team, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I talked about it. I tipped my cap to how disciplined Brock was being, and that's one thing that they were knocked against, throughout these last few years, having such skilled teams but not finding ways to close out games. And that's another thing that happened again. And I mean, it's the Brock Badgers once again finding themselves not winning the Baggataway Cup. 2009, it seems like it's not that far away, but for a program with such big history, finding themselves not coming home with a cup again, especially on their home field, got to be disappointing. But you got to be, looking down at Trent.
Yeah, they're thrilled.
And they deserve this win. They fought back. They made the proper adjustments, and it wasn't just these star players that we saw come out to play as well.
No, how about the rookie?
Handshakes first.
Cam Garland with a huge goal, kind of snake bit, had some struggles during the game. And Travis Sabols, we talked about him stepping back into a lesser role this year with a huge 5-hole goal, sneaking in between Guinea's legs. I mean, Alex Guinea was very good. Kyle Holton was outstanding.
Yeah.
For the Trent Excalibur. And Holton could be a player of the game candidate. Our player's name, we're not picking. We're going with Ethan Schott, number 44 for Trent, and Josh Harris, number 55 for the Brock Badgers. 2 defenders who both played some just excellent games.
Yeah, no, I mean, the defense in this one was outstanding. I mean, minimal mistakes, but when you have such a good offense, when the team does have those breakdowns, they're going to find ways to score, and we talked about it before the game. It was going to be those little mistakes that whoever does it, make the most mistakes, are probably going to come out on top, and that's what happened in the second half. Brock just couldn't find a way to shut down the adjustments that Trent made, and it's tough to see this Brock team, so much history behind them, find themselves once again not going to the Baggataway Cup final as well, but Trent, a program that is definitely on the rise. Great to see them.
And Brock's still just looking stunned. I mean, Parker Bale is away from his teammates to the left. You see him right there, number 12, with his head in his hands. You can see the effort that they put in. Bale, such a warrior, 3-time All-Canadian. Brock put in a great effort, just a tremendous team. And the ascension of this Trent program continues as they manage to get by. And the one thing, Brock was up. We talked about Brock was up 4-1. Trent outscored them 7-2 after that point. So that's just a great comeback and a great performance by this Excalibur
team. The player of the
team.
game for the Brock Badgers.
The official players of the game.
Number 1, Alex
Guinea announced for Brock. I'm okay with that. I would have gone with Harris, but Brock Guinea was good.
Yeah, Guinea made some big
I wouldn't be
stops.
surprised to see Holden for Trent. We'll see.
I mean, there's a lot of choices you could go on either side of the ball.
Oh, absolutely. Again, I said Kirchmeier for Brock. I thought was really good. On the Trent side, we like Schott, but Ethan Schott, but you could have gone with Johnny Leclerc as well.
For the Trent Excalibur, number 1, Kyle Holton.
Kyle Holt, the biggest plays of the game for Trent. And by Kyle Holton, 2 saves at the end of the first quarter and 1 save at the end of the second quarter, and an absolute lights out chances, and another one later. 4 naked looks right on the doorstep. Huge saves.
Thank you to CUFLA and thank you to the Toronto Rock.
That's a well-deserved honor
presentations coming up.
for
number 2.
Kyle Holt.
Yeah, and you talk about how it could be a game-changing save at the end of the first quarter. Didn't really get the momentum going there. It was the one at the end of the second where they could have gone down 5-1. Instead, it's 4-1, and it completely changed the dynamic of the game.
Yeah, I mean, just a tremendous game of field lacrosse. So exciting, such tension and intensity, and boy, and when it comes down to the end of the game like that, and some of the calls, both teams are upset about some things, but it kind of balanced out. But the big thing, you talked about Brock not being as careful with the ball as they could have been, some decisions they made, and boy, some of the strips Trent made, some of the plays Trent made to get those loose balls, but then, boy, Kyle Holden, a fantastic game, and then throws the ball away in the final minute. Almost, that was close to being letting Brock even it up.
Yeah, I mean, Brock had the chances at the end of the game. They just couldn't, find a way to score, and it almost seemed like they kind of got away from what was working in the first half. And whereas you look at Trent, they tried something different, and they outscored them 7-2 in the second half. An unbelievable comeback, and I'm, looking Western walking onto the field here. It's going to be another game, another great game this afternoon against 2 teams that also have no problem putting the ball in the net as well.
Yeah, Western in their purple with the gray shirts, and Guelph will be on the other end. Trent still huddled over on their side of the field around head coach Jeff McKinley. They will celebrate, and then they will get ready to face the winner of this game. Now, I'm curious whether they stick around. We talked on the way out of the hotel this morning to one of the Western coaches and said, you guys going to watch the game? They said, coaches will, the players won't.
Yeah.
We want to let them rest. We don't want them thinking about that.
No.
They'll deal with that after.
You got to get there
after,
first, right?
We've got to get to the final. We're not worried about those teams. But now, Trent's done for today. They need to eat. They need to do some things. But do you want them to watch? Probably not. I'm thinking probably the same approach. Let the coaches watch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I talked to Mark Farthing before the game, and he said, he's talking about how they've done film throughout the year. He said, we're done with film. We've gotten here. We have an idea with our scouting reports. We're more focused on what we have to do as a team. The coaches, obviously, we're going to take a look, but for the players, they're going to let them play.
Yeah, I like what he was saying, too, about what they're doing. You're going to hand off your headset to Ethan Schott here, but what he was saying about about letting them warm up the way they want to. Ethan Schott, come on in. We're going to go to this camera right here. Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Excellent. Congratulations, first of all. A huge win. One of the biggest wins in the history of Trent Lacrosse.
Yep. We this is our first semifinal win in lacrosse, Trent Lacrosse history. It's a big one for us. We were a slow start. Brock came out flying. They had a lot of confidence coming from that last game, and we came out. We knew we just had to stick with it.
You're down 4-1, and we were talking, you get down 4-1, they had all the momentum, and everything seemed to be going their way. We said, we know Trent's going to battle back into this. Can they come back all the way? And then 2 huge saves by Holton at the end of the first quarter, another one at the end of the second quarter, seemed to really turn. We said those could be momentum shifters. It was huge for you guys to get some confidence in the defensive end.
Yeah, Kyle Holton, he's been our defensive backbone the whole entire year. He's been a stud on us for defense, making tons of big saves and key moments of the games, and I think that's what got us going. Seeing those big saves just gave us some momentum and got us going.
Now, you guys defensively, Kevin, you're on camera there. Thanks.
Everyone off the field, please.
Sometimes
accept,
officials just
if you
like to
remember,
walk in
the
and get
12
their moment of
Ribbons or
glory.
Western
But
Mustangs.
you know,
Please leave
you
the
guys
field
had to create some
area.
offense, and you
Unless
did.
you're a
And
member
we
of
saw
either
Eddie with the big goal, and
Guelph
Zabolts
or
and Garland
Western.
really,
Thank
really
you.
spread out. But I thought a lot of it, we picked you as our player of the game because we thought what you guys were doing in the defensive end was really good because they're such a potent and varied offense, and you guys really worked as a team to limit them after they got the 4 goals.
Yeah, like we had to really slow it down. We knew like they were gonna come in hot, like they did, and they had like their offense is probably one of the best in the league, and we knew we had to shut them down. We had a couple mishaps at the beginning of the game, and we knew we just had to make a couple adjustments to fix it, and we ended up and our offense did their job.
Now, you took a penalty late in the game with 25 seconds left. You were called for a penalty. I said on air, and again, I'll admit I'm a Trent alum. You know, I've been part of the school for a long time, but watching the game, I thought most of the calls were okay. I didn't understand what that was for, and I don't think you did either.
I honestly had no idea. Like from the ref's perspective, it could have been a little off because he did fall from my front side. Like I looked like I hit him in the back, which I didn't. But I don't know. The refs have their opinions, and I guess he got made up. It was a make-up call at the end of the game there when Brock got a penalty there, so it all worked out.
And then they obviously got very upset, but you guys held on. Your goalie Kyle Holton, what a great game! But then he tries the long, ill-advised pass that flings out of bounds. You guys must have been thinking, no, this cannot get away from us when we had the ball.
Yeah, it was a big mishap, but we knew we could bounce back from it.
So now, I'm curious, do you guys stick around and watch this next game, or are you just going to go eat, rest, and get ready for tomorrow and see who you're playing later?
I think, well, our hotel is right across the street, so I think we're going to go grab a quick bite to eat and maybe catch the last bit of this game just to see who our next opponent is.
Perfect. Congratulations. Excellent game. Thanks so much, and good luck tomorrow. We'll see you there.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, guys. Now, are we done? That's it. We're going to wrap things up. We'll be back in about an hour with Western versus Guelph. Stick with us on Brock TV. I'm Stephen Stamp on behalf of Zach Engel and Pat Gregoire. We'll be back. Come join us. Thanks for being with us for now.